Hello and welcome to the Ask Aviator podcast and live stream. Episode number 47. This has been a struggle bus and a half, but I think it's working. I don't know why our internet just hates us. I'm sorry, guys.
It just does. 8 o'clock on Tuesdays. It's like when it just decides to just go down the toilet.
We have 100 down and 15 up and normally, and right now we have 12 down and I think it's 10 up. And there's no reason, there's no logical reason for this. It's just, it is what it is. And apparently that is our life right now. So apologies, I hope are accepted by all of you. We love you guys. Appreciate you. I'm watching the stream and it looks good. So that's a good sign. We actually look kind of blue on this screen. Isn't that interesting?
How fascinating.
Well, I can work on the blueness in a moment, but I want to take a moment to welcome everyone to the show. Thank you guys all for being here. Tonight's show is going to be kind of similar to our normal shows. Like the last 3 or 4 shows, we've had guests, we've done Zoom, this is going to be different.
Fancy. We were fancy.
So
Going
fancy.
back to our roots.
Going back to the roots, guys.
Okay.
Can you tell I've been looking at property in Texas because I love Texas? Someday. Yeah, so welcome to Ripman Ride and Cody Esterline, Nick Griffith, David Aller, Phobio, 2101-009-090, Craig Taylor, my good man, BGNH, good to see you, buddy. Nick, I know that Dina's here probably as well. Matthew Pesci, Andrew Finnegan, Nick Griffith. Gosh, there's a whole bunch of good people in here. Dave is in here from Paramotor Crazy.
Nice.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Welcome, everybody, to another episode. This is number 47, as I may have said already. I'm not quite sure.
All right.
But hopefully everything works well here. We have prioritized the Wi-Fi to the main computer that's there. And so we're going to hope that this scene, I wanted to point out just the fact that she brought cookies.
I tried cookies.
She brought cookies, guys.
I do not mess with the snacks.
Oh my goodness. All right. So, Peter C's, good to see you. Bob Blitheract, Brian Waller, Uncle Tony, great to have you guys. Kelby Cox, pleasure indeed. Christine, welcome. Glad to have everybody here. So tonight's show is going to be a lot like what our normal shows used to be like, which is us getting together and just having a conversation and listening to you guys. If you have any questions, if you have any things you'd like to know things about, etc. Tony Marzano, Mitch Briggs, any of you guys who have any questions about getting into the sport, that kind of thing, we'll definitely have a few different notifications and that kind of thing that we'll share with you. Some good news. I'm going to do this real quick and see if I can amp up the yellow. Let's see. Oh, yeah, that's very yellow. It's too
What
yellow.
is happening?
I'm just playing with lights. Don't mind me. I don't know if it'll make us look any less white. Who knows? I made it darker, so that's exciting.
Just gonna...
Oh, my gosh. Johnson's here. We got the crew, guys. So, without further ado, if you guys have questions, if you have thoughts, if you have things you want to talk about, I'd love to hear them from you all. We are in the middle, well, not we, I can't say we, Jane Ellen's in the middle of working on the newsletter that goes out on the 1st and the 15th of every month. If you guys want to sign up for that newsletter, you can go to aviatorppg.com or aviatorparamotor.com, where you can sign up for the newsletter. And some of the top tips and things in that newsletter this week is simply that we have class spaces available in June, July, and August. So if you're looking to get ready to fly, one of the goals we had in 2018 was to be able to have people sign up for training and get it within 30 days. So we're finally at that point.
Living the dream.
Yes. So if you guys want to sign up for training, we'd love to have you. We are taking massive precautions for COVID-19. Tony was giving us crap in the chat because we're not 6 feet apart. Sorry, bro. How about now?
Yeah, we've been co-quarantining, so.
Been co-quarantining for like 8 weeks. Good Lord. It's been a really long time, but it's been a good time. It's been, I don't know. I'm really grateful it happened for us, to be able to have that time together.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily choose to spend 8 weeks with 5 people at home.
No, probably not.
But it forces growth, right? It certainly forces growth.
Grow or die.
Grow or die.
We're choosing growth.
Yes, we are. All right, so
that's you,
this one's mine. Jeez. Don't mind our water glasses. Bob Witherek says he wants to sample the cookies. Hang on, let me show off the cookies again. Look at those cookies, guys.
They're not as beautiful as they could be because they could have bacon in them, but they don't because we were out of bacon.
It's a really terrible, terrible thing. Absolutely terrible. Tony Marzano asks, if you order a wing, do you get a stuff sack with it? Do you know the answer to this question?
It does come with a bag. I'm not sure. I honestly don't know the definition of a stuff sack. I know there are many different models of variety. So it does come with one type of easy carry bag.
So it does come with a bag. All the wings we sell come with a bag. If you buy a wing that we currently have in stock, it comes with an easy bag from Ozone. Very soon they come with the Easy Bag Light, which is a little bit smaller, a little bit easier to pack your wing into.
And that's the kind that's just a drawstring
correct.
One. So it's like a giant circle with drawstring through it. Okay.
Yep. So we made the move recently as Ozone released that. We thought it was a great idea. So
nice.
That answers that question.
Does that qualify as a stuff sack?
It does.
That is like the definition of a stuff sack.
Well, pretty much all of them are stuff sacks. If you're stuffing them inside, there's only two types of bags. There's a stuff sack. And there's a concertina bag where you fold it real nicely.
Right.
But that's basically it. So,
okay.
Mitch Briggs says, I purchased the wingtip strobes. Do you have any recommendations on how to attach them to Universal 1.1? I would take that little loop. There's a hole at the end that you can put a loop through, put a string through that loop or a piece of glider line, and then tie it to one of the ribs in the trailing edge of the wingtip closest to you, or the closest to the end. So it'll be that one cell in from the end. Tied it off there. That way it does not come out. These are good questions. I like this. All right. Patrick Eyeball. Any progression on anti-torque fins connected to the throttle to adjust angle as you increase throttle output? Or throttle input?
I don't know that one. You take that one.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
All right. So it's really not necessary. The key is that as you add throttle, the torque compensation, the aerodynamic torque compensation of like the Scout or the ATL fins from Virus that we sell, those fins don't activate at no power because there's not enough air drawing across them. And while yes, they may create a slight turn, we're talking minuscule. It would take a very long time for at idle those fins to do anything. It's only when the air is drawn across them at a high rate of speed that induction, and Class Q Airspace or Johnson could probably explain it even better because he's a Scout fanboy. I just fly the darn things and see which ones I like best. But yeah, there's no reason. I think it's a cool idea, but there's no reason. Audrey Curtis, need a fly together video of you two together. We have one. Check out Aviator Family episode 4, I want to say. 3 or 4.
That sounds right.
Yeah. What's up with Oshkosh? Will it happen?
Oshkosh, sadly, was canceled for this year by its organizers just a week or two ago.
Yeah.
They made that decision. So Oshkosh AirVenture is not happening for anyone this year.
Which is super sad.
All very sad, but we'll make it that much more exciting next year.
The Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Yeah, so basically right now we have one event left air show-wise that has not been canceled, and that's going to be the Lycoming County Balloon Fest and Air Show in September in Pennsylvania, which will be right after our class in Pennsylvania that is tentatively scheduled for August 22nd. So if you were in the Northeast and you're looking to get trained, it's up on the website now. It is fully refundable if it for some reason is not approved by the airport board. It'll be in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, and it's our first ever class at a controlled airport. We're really excited. We had a great contact with the airport board or airport manager there. He loves the idea. He's taking it to the board just to confirm. So it'll be a full-on Aviator class in Pennsylvania. It's kind of cool.
Exciting, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's different. It's very, very different. So
should be good times.
I'm excited. Will electric paramotors overtake gas? Whenever Elon Musk gets involved, just like Andrew said here, if Elon Musk ever gets involved and creates an electric paramotor, then yes. But until then, the battery technology is just not there yet. I'd love to see that happen, but yeah.
Yep.
Let's see. Animaniac. Do you want to read these?
I can't see anything.
You can't see them?
I can't see anything.
Of course not. I got to say a huge shout out to my boy Torqued Off Greg, who is just taking his first flight. He is the second winner of the Tucker Got competition, winning a free flight training from Aviator. Stay tuned. I believe that will be happening again sometime in the near future. We're in discussions about it right now. But Greg had his first flight a couple days ago. Super proud of him. He looked so good doing it. Like, it was freaking awesome. So well done, Greg, and welcome. Anime asks, you mentioned looking at electric paramotors. How light could you make one if you designed it for, say, 10 minutes of flight time, plenty for student use? Gosh, with that few batteries, you could probably make it in the 30-ish pound range. But the reality is you don't want something that's only 10 minutes, because if you have a student need to stay up longer for whatever reason, for an emergency or whatever, you want to have more power, like more battery power.
Yeah. even as a very new student, even with training, there were times where, you come around and you think you were coming into land, and then your instructor would say, nope, there's skydivers coming in. We'd go around again. And I've had that happen multiple, where I've stayed up 10 or 15 minutes longer than I planned, waiting for my window to land because there's students taking off, there's other students landing. I mean, there can be enough going on.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
So even that.
And that's the thing to me, is you always want to have a buffer. In an airplane, we were required to have a half hour of buffer in the daytime and an hour at night. If I remember, I think it's an hour at night. I'm forgetful. It might be 45 minutes. Don't quiz me on the FARs, guys. I know 103 really well. 91's really long, okay? And so you want to have that backup time. You really do. Kane Theriot says, y'all need a training app that works like Acorn. All my change goes into PPG Training Fund. I need a place that I can put money without spending it. Brother, we do that. You don't have to use an app. You can go to the website right now, sign up for training. If you need to have training scheduled for later in the year or for next year, that's no problem. And we can charge you once a week. It gets down to the cost of like lunch. It's like $17 a week if you register for training for the end of the year. So it's not crazy expensive. It's something that you can afford, you can justify. Please, I mean, check it out. Like, that's a great way to ensure you actually get to have this dream. And that's one of the big things that we wanted to talk about, was like, the reality is a lot of people are having this come to Jesus moment, for lack of a better term, where they're realizing that if they've been stuck in quarantine, or they're stuck in an essential business, working their tail off, overworked, they're realizing they want to live, they want to dream, they want to actually get up there and fly and live a life that matters. So guys, come fly with us. I promise it's worth it. In fact, I'd love to see from people in the chat, if you guys would just humor me for a second. If you're watching this right now and you're already a pilot, you don't have to type anything. If you're not a pilot, I want you to say, I am not a pilot, or just no. I want to see in the chat. Let's see. What else do we have? Brandon Reed, do you have plans to schedule another wheel launch training in the near future? Not right now, Brandon. We are still, we had trouble filling the last one. And so we're still kind of looking forward to the future for that. We do have some Alliance members that do it very, very well. Midwest PPG in particular, I would highly recommend them. Incredible instructors, as well as Lone Star Paramotor in Texas. Really, really great people. I'll let you take this one. Do you know the answer?
No. I mean, I don't know that it matters.
Well, the question was, would you say it's better to seek training during the summer, or is fall better for airtime? Purely on airtime, the summer's the best. Because you're going to fly basically every day. Last year, we had 6 unflyable days in the space of 3.5 months. Right? But the evenings are shot, but the mornings are great. It's just really hot, guys. It's really, really hot. Phobia, did Aviator ever hire an accountant? No, we have not. We are using a part-time bookkeeper right now, and we're interested. We're always interested in other options. There's camping at XO7. Where on the field is it locating? They closed the campground, so people are just camping in the parking lot, which is interesting. All right.
Yeah. Cody Esterline says, I'm having issues getting into my seat once I'm in the air. Any suggestions? I have the hang points correct. On the simulator, I can get in easily, but in the air, I can't. Please help. My first thought would be leg straps may need adjusting. Yeah. Also, depending on what model you're flying, so I normally fly the Fly Products Eclipse, and getting into the seat was never a problem. And then I flew the Maverick once, which is a beautiful machine, but the learning curve to get into the seat was massive. I couldn't believe how much different it was, even though I adjusted the leg straps and everything ahead of time, and it was set up properly for my body. So it may just be, that could possibly be an issue. What else?
No, she's absolutely right. And the big reason why it's different from going from the simulator into the air is that you have an angle, right? So now you have an angle of attack. So you're not trying to get in a seat that's flat and level. You're trying to get into a seat that is pitched forward. So one thing you can consider doing is actually coming down on your power, back down to a cruise power, so you're at a level attitude. That can help. But generally, it's leg straps. The other thing that might be an issue, and Cody, I don't remember how tall you are, but one of the issues that can come to be is sometimes if your shoulder straps are too tight, there's not enough room in the harness for your entire torso to fit in. So when you try to get in the seat, you're actually picking the motor up. And I've had that happen to me. Very, very frustrating. That's why I bought my own motor. for me
nobody
and no
touches
one
it.
else. Yeah, because I want it set up for me, dadgummit. And the last time Tom from Parajet was here, that jackwagon didn't take one of the other 30 motors we have in the shop. No, he took mine and messed it all
Well,
up.
yours is the best.
It's still not the same.
No, it's
Not since he touched it.
Well, you know,
It's
these
disappointing.
things happen.
Disappointing. Kristen Solano, great to see you here.
Hey, Kristen.
For you guys who don't know Kristen, she is in charge of student relations. She helps you guys get booked into your classes.
Yes.
She is basically the queen, and we love her to death. She's also working on sales and everything else. She's just amazing.
And
So-
they just moved. So I hope
Yes.
you are settling reasonably well.
Right? So Tony says, what's the worst and best thing that's coming out of this? If you mean this as in COVID, that's a really tough question to ask, man. I think we should probably write a couple books about that. Are we doing first responder discounts? I would love to. I would love to do military and first responder discounts. We haven't in the past. Email us, and you never know. Maybe it's something that we might be able to do. There's not a whole lot of profit margin because of the size of our team and the amount of resources that we put in as far as the equipment and the facilities and everything else. But
Here's the beginning of our pilot reference point.
just looking at all these folks to see. Okay, so there's not a whole bunch of you guys that aren't pilots yet, but there's maybe half of you. All right.
Yeah.
Bob Garber, you need to come and learn to fly, dude. Blitheract, you too. Come on, guys. Where did I put my phone?
So Jamie Stotts asks, can you compare PPG with powered hang gliding? What is happening?
I accidentally opened a video from Alex, and it's really loud.
But the real question is, can you compare PPG with powered hang gliding? Popularity, cost, safety, required skill, other... I know nothing about powered hang gliding, so that's all you, babe.
So I flew powered hang gliders, or trikes, delta wing trikes, when I was in high school, quite extensively. My hangar neighbor was a guy named Mark Gibson, or Gibbo. He had a company called Gibbo Gear. They built the butterfly trike, and I used to hang out with him and his sons every day. And I absolutely loved it. And I had a gentleman who took me under his wing and taught me to fly as well, and it was just awesome. In fact, he keeps threatening to come learn to fly paramotors, which would just be great. It'd be a great full circle thing. So I learned to fly those at probably 15, 16 years old, and they're a blast. I mean, they turn on a dime. They're very dynamic. They can fly in stronger conditions. They don't like crosswinds very much unless you're a legend like Larry Mednick or Amy Mednick. Those two are just incredible pilots from Revo. But the big downsides are cost and space. So anytime your aircraft is going to take you, say, 30 minutes to set up, you're just not going to fly as often. You're not going to fly as often because it takes you 30 minutes to set it up. When I get to the field, I've actually timed it from the time I've walked in the door to the time I've been running into the sky has been less than 3 minutes. Right? I can get the wing laid out. I can get everything gone because I've done it so many times, and I post-flight well. You know, I can do a quick check over, and I can be in the air in 3 minutes from the time I open my car door to the time I'm in the sky. You can't do that with a. Let me close that here.
Oh, I just opened it.
Oh, on purpose? I see. I'm
Yes.
slow. Sorry.
It's okay.
She's taking notes. I can
I'm
keep
try-
up. I can keep up. It's all good.
No. Can you, though?
Caleb Johnson, what's
Okay.
the best? So that's one
Sorry.
is the cost, two is the space associated. So you really need a hangar if you're going to fly it frequently.
Yeah.
Hangars are very expensive. A T hangar at our tiny Podunk airport in a town of 18,000 people is almost $300 a month, and that's dirt cheap. My understanding is in places like Cleveland, Ohio, they're like $1,100 a month. So
Yeah.
it's a huge expense, and that's something to keep in mind. I don't know the prices of an entry-level trike, but like the ones that I would trust that I really like are the Revo trikes, the Rev, the RevX. Those are, you're looking at a starting price of around $20,000, and it goes up as high as $120. So it's a lot of money, of money. Caleb Johnson's best way to ease into midday flying is to come down here and do a thermaling clinic with us, 100%. That's the way to do it safely, with reserve, with Mojo, with a lot of ground school, and by a lot, I mean about an hour, because it's not that complicated. It's learning site selection and really learning to read the weather ahead of time. So let me know when you want to do it. I'd love to have you back.
009 says he is buying Aviator gift cards every month and is saving them up for training or wing. That's awesome.
That is
Planning
so
ahead.
sweet.
Kolkati asks, if you could only choose to fly one craft, would that be a paramotor or a
Cessna
Cessna 172?
There's not even a
And why?
question. Not even a question.
I could answer that for you.
Yeah, if it's not an F-22 with a free gas card, or a P-51, maybe. it's going to be a paramotor. I mean, the thing is, the paramotor is so much more of an intimate experience. And like, I love my airplanes, and I will choose the RV6 all day long for practicality, because I can go somewhere at 26 miles to the gallon at 180 miles an hour. And that is like legendary. But the paramotor, if I were only allowed to fly one thing for the rest of my life, it'd be a paramotor. There's just zero question. Zero.
Yep.
Vertical lines. What is the minimum height to toss a reserve? Very good friend of mine in Texas threw his reserve at 60 feet, and he said it was like, boom. He felt the reserve hit, and then his feet hit the ground, and it saved him. So very low. Very, very low.
That's surprisingly low, I feel like.
They were able to measure the tree that he had just crossed over when he had to throw. He was trying to get in, and he was holding more and more brake, and eventually stalled the wing, and it was an advanced level glider, and he knew it was not going to recover, so he chucked out his laundry and got it. So.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, Craig Taylor asks, who thinks it was a good idea to close the campground? We don't know.
Wasn't us.
We fought for it. We tried to take it over. We did everything we could, and it didn't happen. So.
Well.
Yeah, they made it a zoning issue, Brian Waller. It wasn't a zoning issue for 15 years. They sure made it one.
Sorry, it's jumping again.
It's all right. Man, you guys are talkative tonight. I love
know,
it.
That's why I was trying to take notes.
We're catching up. Class Q says he puts 50 pounds of extra weight in his motor so no one borrows it. I will never fly your motor, Johnson. Seriously, I tried picking it up, and I thought I was picking up your mom. It was bad.
No, if I put more than 3 liters of fuel in mine, I'm like, nope, I'm out. Somebody else fly it.
Yours weighs 36 pounds and 7 ounces.
Have you seen these arms?
Yeah, they're like cut and stuff.
All right. Kane asks or says, I've seen quite a few PPG books and manuals out there. Is the PPG Bible the premier literature I should start reading, or do you guys recommend another? I've literally never seen a paramotor in real life. Kane,
that's freaking amazing. We highly recommend the PPG Bible. It's Jeff Goen is a godfather of the sport, super good dude. I would highly recommend you take the time to read that. Most of our students get a copy. We are working on some other literature because we think that we'd like to be able to put Aviator's doctrine and spin into it to explain things the same way we teach them in class. But highly recommended. Chunkamunga is in Australia waiting for the restrictions to lift so he can get his training done. Would you guys recommend I buy my first wing, a helmet, and a training harness? Yeah, buy a Ozone Roadrunner. I don't know what it's going to cost in Australia. I'm not sure what the dealer's going to charge you there. Scott Utley, I believe, is the distributor there. Super good dude. And they're $1,300 here. It's a fantastic wing. I know that a few guys in the chat have them, and it's a lot of fun. Jonathan Hardwick says Lake Wales isn't podunk. Jonathan, that's easy to say when you lived in Winter Haven.
Oh, man.
Best Trike for your most 185, Brian. Talk to Ross, and we'll get you set up with the Foxy. Be a great thing to do. Or a Flash Cruiser. You're getting
Sorry, it just keeps leaping.
I'm going to go up real quick.
Yeah. Sorry.
Anthony says he'd love a thermal clinic in his quad with you guys just so far away. Adopt you. You don't want me to be your mom. Ask all my sons if you want to be my mom. I got a lot of sons. Let's see. Yeah, we could do that. Paramotor Crazy says midday thermaling with Ripman Ride and Aviator. We can put something together for you guys when you're here if you'd like. That would be a lot of fun.
I know we've addressed this recently, but Mark asks about Fly Products.
Yes, they're back to work, and I have bills of lading that they have shipped all of our stuff. So that is really good news. Mike Marks, how's the Kit Fox project going? Did you go forward with selecting the Viking engine? So, long story short, our filmmaker's last project filming, Dan, who we love to death, his last project filming was the installation of our Viking engine. There's a lot more to say than that, but he was supposed to be working on it. I bought him a laptop so he could work on it, and he's going to trade time for it. And then he has been so busy with his new job that he's not been able to finish it. And so if you guys want to see that happen, hit him up on Instagram. I think there's got to be a link to him somewhere on Instagram. And just beg him, please, because we desperately need that footage. And Viking's been harassing us, and I love them to death, and I want to get this out there. It is running. It is ready for covering. Lord willing, this coming week, we'll have the covering begin. That is the goal. So
Yeah.
hopefully it'll happen.
Yeah, that'd be good. Hello again, William. We hung out with William
Last night
on the Aviator
alumni chat.
alumni family chat.
Yeah, man.
I have not been up lately. I have not flown in. I think it's been about 2 months since right after we came back from the Palm Bay the Florida fun.
Did you fly after that?
Yes, the next day I went and flew, and then the next 2 days I went and didn't fly.
That's right. Super exciting, fun times.
Yes. Yeah, that's been about 2 months ago.
CT Shoot Flyer asked a really good question. He said, I tied in 2D steering on my Roadster 3 after kiting the test. Any big things to look out for? If you haven't seen it yet, search on this channel for 2D steering video. There's a whole video on what to do, what to look out for, etc. Very important that you just make sure it's not activating at any point in the trim range. And if you use speed bar, make sure it's not activating on bar. Make sure your brakes aren't activating. That's the most important thing, guys.
We caught up.
We caught up. Heck yeah, Jean de Jean.
So, if there was anything that we missed while we were scrolling slowly, type it in again.
Please feel free.
Maybe we'll get to it this time.
We'll do our best. And I want to say a big shout out to everyone who's been in those calls. It has been such a blessing.
Much fun.
Like for us, I think that is literally my favorite thing is getting to spend the time with you guys on Monday nights. I mean, no offense to the 100 people who are watching right now. You guys are amazing. And this is a great showing. There's 102 people watching live right now.
Fun.
I do have some more news.
We do?
We do. If you listen to the podcast as a podcast normally and you're forced to be here right now, I uploaded 10 episodes, I think it was, on Wednesday of last week or Thursday of last week. And I am working super hard. The rest of them are ready to upload, but there's like a limit, and I'm already over by 6.5 hours, so I have to pay a lot of extra money. But it is coming June 2nd. I'll upload the next 10 hours of content, and we'll just keep things going forward. So it will continue and continue. Let's see. Phobio, how did you meet Woody's Gamertag? I met Woody's Gamertag. If you go way back in time on my channel, I had a series of videos for what was called March Madness, which was video game content mixed with skydiving, airplane flying, all kinds of other stuff, where I made it to the third round, I think, of Woody's Gamertag's March Madness tournament. And that's how we met. And then we played video games together a lot for a long time. And then had a falling out, didn't talk for years. And all of a sudden he was flying paramotors. And I was like, I'm going to hear from Woody soon. And I did. So it was kind of cool, actually. Yeah. So let's see. Another question from David Nickerson. You want to read it?
Sure. David Nickerson asks about VR training. I just bought 2 Oculus Quest systems. It was fun to tag along with Tucker on a 360 YouTube clip, but wondering if we are still working on VR content.
So our VR content that we are creating right now is specifically designed for the school. So it's designed to be used in unison with a few of our practices and the things that we do. The intent there is to add an additional layer of realism for our students. David, I know you're a past student. If you want access to it, that's no problem. We're more than happy to help make those things happen. Eventually, we may have more 360 content as far as flying videos, that kind of thing. It's really just a question of time, and I haven't been flying. So looking forward to flying again. The plan right now is for us to return to our daily lives on the 21st, if there's no giant uptick in cases. Yep. We're doing our best to keep the family safe, etc. Christine asked, could you put original air date in the description on the podcast? I can do that, Christine. Great feedback. Let me put that on my list of things to do, and I will do that for you. Original date on podcast. I can make that happen, no problem.
That's an excellent feedback.
Really good feedback. Thank you. Thank you.
So Anthony has 2 questions. When is the next thermaling clinic? And how experienced should you be to take the thermal clinic?
Next thermal clinic is TBD, whenever you guys want to. Basically, we need to have 4 pilots at minimum and 8 pilots at maximum who are ready to learn to thermal. And wants to do that. I think we charged $800 last time, something like that. And if you guys would like to learn to thermal, just get together a group. You can create it right here, and we would be more than happy to help you.
Yes. So that's conversation about Woody. There are a few Woodies in our life.
Yes, we have Woody Treon and we have Woody's
Yes.
gamer tag.
Woody's gamer tag. Yes, and so I'm looking at the chat. I'm like, oh, there's so many conversations about Woody.
Woody.
A couple different people.
No, Woody Treon's actually hanging out with the class this week. He quarantined
Yeah.
himself so he could be here with his buddy Ivan, who runs a YouTube channel as well that does diagnostics on cars. Really, really neat dude.
Oh, cool.
Super excited to have him here. Jamie asks, I gather you don't use the Ozones. Oh, I didn't answer the rest of the question. How experienced do you need to be? We recommend PPG 3 level skills, so approximately 100 to 150 hours of flight time, ability to spot land, ability to handle small collapses or large collapses, and just overall confidence.
Yeah.
I will take someone, if I see their skills and know their skills personally, I would take someone sooner if I was completely confident, but we're always going to put safety first.
Yep.
Jamie Stotts, he says, I gather you don't use the Ozone Spark 2 in class. Why not? Too easy. Actually, no. The Spark 2 has too much roll rate. It oscillates too much under power. So we actually have a few Sparks for sale if anyone wants one. We have, I think, every size except maybe the large, which I believe is a 28. So if anyone wants a Spark 2, I'll make a deal on them because they're demos. They have maybe 2 hours on them. So that's pulling that out of my hat. I have to actually look at the spreadsheet to find out how many hours they have. But so Spark 2s are awesome if you have a little bit of experience. But as a beginner pilot, you want something that does not do anything surprising. And that wasn't the Spark 2 for us.
Yeah. Psychedelic asks or says on your training schedule listed, I saw a Pennsylvania site in August, I believe. Yes, you did. Can we elaborate? Is it an Alliance school? So we did touch on that earlier in the episode, but reiteration here. Yes, there is a date for aviator training in Pennsylvania toward the end of August. I believe you said August 22nd. It is not an Alliance school. It is actually a one-time remote, for now, one-time remote training site to give an opportunity for people who may be looking for training a little closer northeast area. So if you're interested, definitely drop us a line, sign up.
It's something we've talked about doing for years.
Open.
Yeah, we've talked about doing what we call the Aviator Roadshow or Aviator Summer Camp for many years. And with signups being slower in Lake Wales and us having more availability, we said, listen, what can we do? What are the biggest common denominators why people don't come to Aviator? Mm-hmm. It's either going to be availability. They can't come and stay for 8 to 14 days. Yeah. And that's important to mention too, guys. You don't have to stay for 14 days. We're just available that long in case the weather's bad. We want to make sure that we serve you and you get all the experience you need. And the other one was, so it's time, location, and money, right? So some people just won't pay a premium price for a premium product. And we totally respect that. We will help them find people who can take, or they don't want to travel. You know, we have people who've come here from Bangladesh, from Iceland, from Denmark. We've had people, I think Denmark, from all over the world. Like literally we've had people come and train here from all over the entire planet. And we're super blessed by that. We actually just had a conversation with a guy a couple days ago from Dubai who's already been trained, has been flying for like 7 years and wants to come and get trained properly.
Wow.
Which I thought was really cool. He's like, I've been flying for 7 years and I'm surprised I haven't hurt myself yet. I was like, buddy. So yeah.
All right. Easy question for you because I don't know the answer to this very easy question. 3-blade or 2, and why?
So if I am only about the power, like if I'm primarily flying acro 3-blade, because power is awesome. It's a little bit smoother. I choose 2-blade because it's much quieter. And if I'm flying on cross countries and whatnot, I don't want to be being obnoxious to my neighbors. And whenever I fly with guys who have 3-blades, like AJ, Travis, Partha, my God, everyone we're flying over, like, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. Because it's so loud, guys. Like a 3-blade is significantly louder than a 2-blade.
Yeah. More questions about remote training in other states. Something we would definitely love to do at some point if we can have the interest.
So the key
and availability and a location.
Yeah, if you want us to come to your hometown. So Kakalti, if you're talking about us coming to Oregon or Washington, we have a location in Washington that I'm certain that we can most likely gain access to and utilize. the locations are difficult. Like it's a lot of meetings. It was 131 meetings at City Hall for us to get our red building assembled at Lake Wales. Like it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a little simpler for a 2-week stint at an airport. So I can make it happen. It's something I'm willing to put in the effort to do. The key is that we definitely need at least 8 people. At least 8 people who are committed to training and buying equipment. Even if they aren't 100% on equipment, but they think that they're going to like the sport, that's fine. There's a huge expense. I mean, we're looking at probably, it'll be 3 vans, a bus, and 2 trailers going north. So you're looking at $2,200 in fuel alone, not counting time, paying employees. But it's going to be the Aviator staff, the staff from Aviator. This time it'll be the Aviator Lake Wales staff primarily, some of the Aviator Denellen staff potentially as well. So this is big stuff, guys. If you want to do this, and you can bring together some friends, even if you only have like 3 friends that want to do it, contact us. Contact Kristen. Contact myself. It's Kristen at aviatorppg.com or Eric at aviatorppg.com. Just info at aviatorppg.com. And reach out to us, and we'll help coordinate. We can drive more attention to it once we have a core group. You got 3 or 4 guys together who want to do this. We can make it happen. So,
speaking of, shout out to Kristen in the staff. Answering a lot of these questions before we scroll down.
She's in the chat crushing it.
I know. Thanks, Kristen. Sorry, we're but again, repetition is excellent.
It is.
We're going with that.
I'm going to jump in. Corey Emerald, I know you were answering the chat, but it'll be in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, which is about 2 hours west of Philadelphia, I believe, about an hour and a half north of Harrisburg. Absolutely gorgeous. I mean, stunning location. It truly is. So definitely check that out, my friend. There's still space available. Richard Cranium, Montana training. I would love to do that. Oh my gosh, flying in Montana is one of my favorite places in the world. Today I was watching the video of flying in Montana. It sounds silly, but actually, this is a fun moment. Let's do this. Let me just scroll down really quick. Vertical mentions all female class, October 3rd, I believe is the date. And Christine, no 3-blade for the Atom, correct. Jay Williams, will there be any paramotors for sale, or are they backordered? Jay, we have paramotors in stock. We always keep paramotors in stock on the floor here, brand new, used, and available for drop shipping from our manufacturers. So, Skylar says he came here for piano. Michael Kennedy, financing. Absolutely. Everything we sell is financeable. Whether you're buying training and you finance through us through weekly payments, or you're buying equipment, we now actually just added 11 more lenders that take credit scores as low as 550. So if you are interested in signing up for training, we certainly have the opportunity there for you. So let's see. Jeff Stang, good to see you, buddy. Always a pleasure. Tony, yeah, we'd love to do a Mobile Aviator show on the road, whether it's training or it's just adventuring. That was the plan. We were supposed to leave May 5th.
Yeah.
A week ago. We were supposed to be gone with the bush plane and the paramotors and the family, and it was,
Not to be. For May 5th.
Brian Waller says we're always welcome to come train at his place. Dude, I would love to. You're in Alabama. I'm in. You're right near the coast. It'd be beautiful. Mm-hmm. All right, so I'm going to try to do this really quick. This is a really funny announcement. So,
what are we announcing? I'm so
here. Let's just do
curious.
this.
Oh yeah.
So this is our beautiful 2017.
Isn't it gorgeous?
Forest River XLR Thunderbolt 413 amp. It's a 44.5 foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Here, let's do this. Ready? Oh, that didn't work.
Nope.
It's 3-bedroom, 2-bath, big kitchen in the middle. This was purchased for the intent, like the only purpose of this was for the Paradigm team. And quite frankly, Travis and I almost got in a fight over it. Because I was like, we need a bus so that like in the off season I can travel with my family because our kids are little. And he was like, no, the right thing is a 5th wheel. I've had motorhomes. We don't need a bus. It's not. And so I agreed. I said, okay, you buy the trailer, I'll buy the truck. I got a base model F350. He got this trailer. It was amazing. It was amazing. It was so perfect for the Paradigm team. Travis was completely right. It was perfect for the Paradigm team. And I don't regret it. Except that then we stopped doing as many Paradigm shows because we're just too busy. And so suddenly we have this beautiful trailer, which I'm all about, right? Like it's stunning. It's got 2 giant slide outs. It's got a back deck. It's a toy hauler, so you can fit like 8 paramotors in it. You can fit a golf cart in it. You can fit a UTV in it. You can fit so much stuff. We had like 30 gliders in there at one point. Like it was just ridiculous, right? But then Travis left to Aviator, and we were like, okay, what are we going to do with this trailer? So I decided to sell it.
Yeah.
And we sold it to one guy, and it was a great deal, and everything was fantastic. And it was like, everything's working out great.
And his life situation changed.
And his life situation changed massively. He suddenly found out he was getting divorced. It was a very amicable divorce. They're still friends. Everything's great. We still love her. We still love him. And so he couldn't make the sale. So I said, okay, no worries. So I sold it to one of my most stable friends, like a guy who
Rock solid.
Rock solid. He's going to go on the trip with us this summer. I have complete confidence in him. And then he went on
Inverse problem.
He went on a date with an ex-girlfriend who he was still in love with, and a week later he got engaged. So we have it back again after a year of trying to sell it. So long story short, we offered it to the student group today. I got a couple texts from people, but if anyone's interested in a stupidly good deal on a 2017 Forest River 413 amp, we will make a stupidly good deal on it, because this was $132,000 or $137,000 trailer new. We bought it from a guy who put one trip on it. He drove it from Pennsylvania to Daytona, went to Bike Week for a week, drove it home, and it sat for 9 months. And then we bought it. We drove it to Montana, Oshkosh, back home, up to Pennsylvania, and back, and that's it. Sun and Fun twice. So very minimal usage, right? John Keller, long story longer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, John.
Hopefully we're closing the whole book.
We're trying to close the story.
For us. We're handing the story over to someone else.
We're not guaranteeing that you'll get divorced or married if you buy this, all right?
Yes.
There are no guarantees here, but it is a phenomenal trailer, and I'm super pleased with it. But it just doesn't meet our needs. And we bought a 1996 short bus for our family because it's what we can afford.
Of course, we bought a short bus.
Of course, yeah. I mean, it's pretty great. So anyway, it's available. If anybody wants it, send me a message. I would love to see it sell right now on the market. It looks like they're going between 55 and 75. If it goes to a Paramotor pilot, I will sell it cheaper. Not much, because we paid $77 for it. So
I like food.
Or $72 for it. I don't know. And then we put $5,000 into it. We just put 2 new ACs on it. Just put new tires on it. Thing's nice. Let's roll north. Roll north. So anyway, that's the end of my sales pitch. Oh, goodness.
Mostly it's just trailer smack talk.
Trailer smack talk. You guys I love it.
Perfect.
We could do a drawing from the chat for the camper. We would have to do a drawing for the next 17 years.
We could sell raffle tickets for $100,000 each.
So Michael Kennedy says we can use it for lodging for the students, charge room and board. We've done that, but right now we have 2 instructors who have beautiful homes that they're renting in Lake Wales, and we're working on some deals in Denellen for the same thing. So, yeah, but yeah, you guys have got to make this stuff happen. All right, any other questions? I'm sure I missed some in here. I saw Bob Litherek said he was driving. I should scroll up. Bob, I'm sorry. There's so many people chatting. I apologize.
Love it. I'm just sad that we're missing a couple of things.
Exactly. Paramotor Dreams, good to see you. James Dunn, too big for a 3/4 ton. It is generally too big for a 3/4 ton, but if you're not dragging it far, I would probably risk it.
I think our battery just
Apologies for the battery dying. Let's do this. Let's see. Let's just go back to the beautiful. Let's go back to the beautiful trailer. I think you have to take it off the Psychedelic. Another question: does an instructor from Lake Wales always travel to Costa Rica for a class? Honestly, no, we don't, and I'm not sure if Geeky's still operating doing classes or not. I would love to promote him. He's an incredible guy, but I can't get him to reply to. I can't seem to get him to reply to messages about things to do, that kind of thing. Like, hey, there are people who are looking to train with you, and he doesn't seem to reply to it. So I know he's really busy doing the tourist tandems and stuff, but apologies. Come to Lake Wales, Psychedelic. We'd love to take care of you.
I think that's good, but let me know.
There we go. We're back in focus. Everything. High five. You did good. You did good. Oh. So, let's see. Hey, Brian. Good to see you, buddy. Michael Kennedy says Tucker's getting a slide in for his truck. I think that Tucker should buy this truck, or buy this trailer. It needs to stay in the Aviator family, and he needs to get married. So it's like a win-win.
Oh, my gosh. He does not need this trailer, nor does he need to get married.
But, I mean, win-win.
All right. What's happening?
There's nobody talking really.
Sorry.
Tony says that he was on the short bus. Tony, we always knew that about you, and we love you for it. Brian, I saw that chat in the what's it called, the whatever this application is. I can't remember what it's called. Discord. The Discord. Man, I'm so sorry, buddy. I thought it was one of our wings, and I was really worried. I was really glad when you told me it wasn't. So.
Oh, bummer. I'm sorry to hear that.
I am very sorry, though. All right, Phobio.
Phobio says, any issues with storing a paramotor horizontally? My paramotor, what is with my mouth? My paramotor is horizontal in my car. Any issues with oil or fuel?
It depends if you have a tube on your tank that allows a relief air tube so it doesn't vapor lock. You need to make sure you plug that. Like on the air conceptions, we would put a golf tee inside that position, inside the tube, to if you're laying it down, it wouldn't leak out everywhere. Leah Catullo is here. She says she drove the short bus. Love it.
Up on two wheels. I can see it now.
I can see her on two wheels too. Maybe even one. Good night, Greg. Have a great cross country tomorrow. Excited for you.
Yeah.
Very excited for you.
Brian Waller says that he's got about 20 hours on his Mojo and feels like he might upgrade to a Spider. Do you think it's time?
He definitely could. I mean, I've seen you fly, Brian. You'd be totally fine. Nell upgraded to the Spider at about 35 flights.
Somewhere in there, yeah.
Somewhere in there. And how do you feel about going back to a Mojo?
I will do it if I need to.
She's not very excited.
But I wouldn't choose it. It's just it's more work to get up.
It's a lot harder to get up overhead. It's slower. I still choose the Mojo more than I choose any other wing because when I fly, it's oftentimes not the best conditions, and I like having the confidence the Mojo brings me. But I would definitely say that adding a Spider to your fleet would be a great choice. Kakalti.
For the training, can a student pick hourly if they pick up the sport fast, or is it only a package deal? So what we offer at Aviator is the package deal. We feel like our goal is to properly train and fully train everyone who comes through our door. And we feel that the best way to do that is with a full training experience and not on an hourly basis.
So the big part of this too is simply this. If you were to come through our course, now there are other courses out there that aren't as focused on the ground school, they're not as focused on the simulator, the towing, they aren't as focused on creating a full experience. And I would encourage you guys to talk to the other students in the chat. There's a lot of people in the chat who are past students: Derek Trout, Vertical Lines, Brian Waller. Those are just the ones I can see right now. David Nickerson, Alex Diaz. All right. All of these guys can give you some really good feedback. If you were to pay hourly for the training, even if it was, say, $20 an hour, you would be paying more for the training versus what you get at Aviator. It is a huge amount of time and effort. We put a lot of work into making sure that you leave with all the experience you absolutely need. So would really encourage that you look at the value of the overarching thing. It's not just about flying. Flying is just our hook. It's about joining into a community of people and really learning to do something great with your life. So highly encourage the entire experience. And Brian and David and Derek and all these people can speak to the experience because it's not just about the flying. It's about so much more. It really is.
D. Thomas says, I'm shopping for a new wing for my paramotor quad. I'm 35 pounds. Quad is 240. I want the safest, least likely to collapse wing that wants to fly and is reasonable to kite. Please recommend.
If you're flying a quad,
135 pounds. So
yeah,
I figured there was a little typo. But.
Yeah. D, at your weight, all up, it's tough to find wings that are great for trikes. And this is a wing that at a lower wing loading, Ozone recommends for intermediate pilots, not beginners, but intermediate pilots. They say it's okay as long as you're lightly loaded. That would be the Triox. The Triox at your weight, I would recommend a 38. It is a phenomenal wheel launch wing. It is fast. It is smooth. It has high brake input pressure, but it is a phenomenal option. I would highly recommend, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Derek says he's had a couple backfires lately. Smooth for a couple hours after. Why? Just two-stroke awesomeness?
When in doubt, change your spark plug. When in doubt, clean your carb.
Yeah.
That's always the spark plug first, carb second. That's usually what the issue is.
Alex Diaz asks how you know if you need to adjust your brakes.
watch that 2D video talking about how to tie in 2D, Alex. I would encourage that. It'll walk you through the brake test as well. Andre Bandetta. I'm terrible with your name, but I love you and your wife. I hope you guys are doing well. You've got me totally sucked into the paragliding game. I have played like 10 whole minutes of it, and I had to turn it off because I was not going to work the rest of the day. So that might end up getting streamed here as well. And I have had in 10 minutes probably 30 spectacular crashes. And I have been trying really hard to get a vertical power loop on the paramotor, and it does not work, dadgummit. It does not work like real life, all right? I'm just saying. Goodness.
Corey asks if you have rode or have any feedback on the Yaks with the 185.
I've had firsthand experience with the Yak. It's a beautifully elegant assembly. My opinion with it is that it's very, very heavy. The geometry looks okay. I have not flown it. I dislike the weight, and I dislike how many fasteners that the Yak, the Virus, even the Zenith, there's so many fasteners that are required that I prefer simpler tubular frames because of that. The fasteners just add so much weight.
Russell asks, what characteristics should we expect if we are flying at the top of the weight range of a wing?
Depends on the wing. Generally faster speeds, faster turns, more divey, less prone to collapse, but more likely to be aggressive if it does collapse. Go ahead.
Bob wants to know if we still have our 250-pound weight limit, considering a COVID-19 diet.
So I
think we're all a little rounder.
I really genuinely thought that I'd gained like 10 plus pounds, and then we had class start Saturday, so I used the scale. I didn't gain weight, guys. I lost like 5 pounds.
Do you know what I've been feeding him? So much salad!
Yeah, well, that's what you've been feeding me, but what have I been feeding me?
Well, okay, maybe we're breaking even.
We're breaking even. I've been off carbs for like 3 years, and dude, I've eaten like pasta and
He's okay. I'm gonna shout out this man right now. 5 days into quarantine with 5 people. Now we're home a lot, but he's not. The kids and I are home a lot, but we're not all home.
No.
As consistently as we have been for the last 2 months. 5 days in, I came to him and I said, I do not want to do 3 meals a day for 5 people, especially when 3 of those 5 people are real picky eaters.
Real picky, and they don't mind telling you to your face that your food sucks, even when we've told them not to.
Just brain-wise, like I don't have enough creativity for this because one of the 5 people in this house doesn't like the same thing frequently. He likes variety. I mean, this person likes variety. Sorry, I'm commending you, and
just
while I throw you under the bus.
Burn me, it's fine.
Anyway, so I came to him and I said, this is stressing me out. If you're going to be here, can you cook 1 meal a day? It doesn't have to be the same meal every day, just knowing that I only have 2 meals out of 3 every day. And he stepped up and he said, I'm going to cook dinner every day. And he has, except for a couple rare occasions where you've had major workload and I have not and taken over. But
I love to cook. So my grandmother, grandfather, mother, uncle, all chefs. Grew up at a 5-star restaurant. Like, I love to cook. I grew up in a kitchen. It's been a blast, honestly. Like, it's been really fun. And then being creative with leftovers because, you know, we were only getting groceries every 2 weeks or 3 weeks at one point. And so it's like, you know, we're constantly evolving, and it's been a lot of fun. And I've made some darn good food.
You have.
I've also made some not so great food.
Everybody has their moments.
I'm not used to cooking an electric range, and that's all we have here, and it heats really weirdly, so I have definitely burned the crap out of a couple of things.
I love that you're not used to cooking on an electric range. An electric range is what we have had for the entirety of our 10.5-year marriage.
Yep. I wasn't proud of it.
I'm not complaining. That was not me throwing you under the bus. That's just me saying this is the state. All right. Are the Maverick Sport My 20 dual start available yet?
So Bitarazzi was out of them. They had run out of starters. My understanding is that actually they went back to work last week, and that was the first thing they were working on was all of these. So they should be available very, very soon. Andre, could you make an introduction for me and Evan, please? Would you be able to do that for me? I would very much appreciate it if you don't mind. High Flyers asks, this is a later show than others before? Is it not? We've actually moved the time to 8 p.m. since we've been doing them at home, since I'm not sitting at the office making my staff stay there. So
and it's after our kids go to bed.
Precisely.
Yep. Yep. Mark asks, why is it when I land my trike, I often pop a wheelie after I'm on the ground? I guess you just must be that awesome.
No need for a blue pill with Mark.
Nope.
He's got this.
He's got it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man. All right.
You guys are awesome.
Almost.
Bob Blitheract.
Oh.
I'm 62, been smoking for half a century. I weigh 262 and I haven't run since before your lovely life was born. Still want me for a student? Bob, I'd love to have you in a trike class, brother. If you can work on your mental agility, and I know you're sharp as a tack. You know, I've talked to you. I've seen what kind of a person you are and how passionate you are about this. I would love to have you as a student. I would love to see you experience this and see you get to achieve a dream that I know you have. It would make my heart really, really happy. So please, 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 please.
Phobio wants to know our fancy ramen recipe. And I bring this up because we have upped our fancy ramen game. You guys!
We have.
Eric did so much research.
So if you ever want to go down a really dark hole of YouTube, Korean and Filipino home chefs making ramen can take away hours of your life. And it's totally a good thing.
Yeah. So our fancy ramen recipe used to be I'd slice some carrots real thin and put it in, with the water, and then we'd sprinkle cilantro on top.
And cayenne pepper and a little cumin,
Now we add sriracha ketchup. This is gonna sound weird, but
weird.
You guys need to just try it because we were like, oh, I don't know, this is, and then what are we wasting? A 12-cent package of ramen, like okay,
so it's
we'll
half the seasoning packet from the ramen.
Yes,
little cumin,
lowers the sodium and all the junky stuff.
Little cumin, little garlic powder, some sriracha ketchup, which is amazing.
And we do not boil it.
No, you don't need to boil it. You just boil the water, pour the water over
use
it.
Our water kettle, boil that over it, and then the sriracha ketchup.
About a tablespoon.
An egg, a raw egg, that cooks in the heated water, and cheese. We like provolone because we're not big American cheese people in general.
No.
But apparently American cheese is like really great. I don't know. So yeah. So somebody asked earlier, what is the best and worst things to come out of the COVID-19? Best might be that we've upped our fancy ramen game.
Our fancy ramen game is like on point, guys. It's real good. It's real good.
Oh man, I feel like there was an actually like.
There's some good stuff here. I love it. All right.
No, here we go.
Andre's can connect me with Evan. Awesome. Thank you. Vertical lines. Yes, they did ship via freight in late April. Let's see. Bought a wolf stove. 1:57 a.m. High Flyer. Brother, thank you for being here, my friend. Truly appreciate it. Brian Pearson. Difference between can you use your regular wing? Yes. There's a caveat. Some gliders are more prone to oscillation under intense weight. So even if you're within the weight range, the oscillations can increase. So for instance, the Swiftmax is designed for the weight. No problem to do a tandem. It can handle it. No issues whatsoever. But it oscillates a lot on wheels. Foot launch, it doesn't oscillate. I think it's because of the distribution of the weight, because the weight's so much further outside. It has something to do with the distance between the risers based upon the trike itself. Like it's more prone to oscillate under heavy loading on a Vertigo versus a Flash Cruiser, but it still does so. So it really depends on where you are in the weight range. If you're using a very light trike like the Foxy, no issue at all. So like right now, Ross is flying his Foxy at 185 pounds or so on a free ride 16 and just crushing it. So definitely would encourage either one of those things.
I'm not sure if
All right, let's see. Vasily asks, are you guys still doing the program with kiting wings, or does it make sense to buy a wing for kiting while waiting for the course? It always makes most sense to buy a glider, particularly with a Roadrunner available now. If it's within your budget, a Roadrunner is $1,300. You can get a kiting harness for a couple hundred, and really dial your skills in. Like being super dialed in will make you a much better student. That said, our goal is to be able to offer our students a free glider to kite for at least a week before their training. We've had to postpone that slightly just due to cash flow because, last month was less than It was around 12% of the month before as far as revenues, which is kind of terrifying. So we need to get students signed up. We need to keep things moving forward to keep the dream alive, because we rely on our students. We rely on building the family more than we rely on sales, because most other schools encourage you to buy equipment before you come, and we don't. So we're not making the money on the equipment until after you've trained, because we really want to make sure that you're trained properly and that we can recommend the right gear for you and that you can make a decision that's based on experience, not marketing. That's really, really important to us.
Johnson has asked the most important question of the night,
Uh-oh.
which is, what ramen brand and flavor do you start with?
It really doesn't matter. The black ramen is my favorite right now with the spicy packet.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. He likes chicken ramen.
Oh, God. Why are we going down this path?
We didn't know this before we got married.
No, we didn't know. It was almost game
ender. It was a moment. And I can say that jokingly because it's really not that big a deal. But he likes chicken. I like beef or shrimp. I know it's weird. It's gross. Whatever. I'm weird.
I haven't tried shrimp since I got my allergy fixed.
That's true.
Maybe I would like shrimp ramen. I don't know. Brian Waller says, what kind of cheese? Provolone, boy.
Provolone.
All right, let's see. We got 009 says his wife is Filipino. He's going to bring me pancit, which I have no idea what that means. What is that? Sounds good. Let's see.
Michael Kennedy asks, why is it that some wings don't have trimmers?
Paragliding wings generally don't have trimmers. They also have much longer risers, and they generally don't have magnets for the brakes. They use snaps because you don't have to close them until you're landing. That's why. That's generally the reason why.
Bob Garber says that we should use shredded Monterey Jack on our ramen.
I'll try anything.
It still sounds better than American cheese. So.
Heck yeah.
Our kids won't even eat American cheese.
That's true.
They're cheese snobs. We raised cheese snobs.
We did. I'm kind of okay with it, especially when David Nickerson brings us so much good cheese. Max airspeed to learn to kite in. It depends on the glider you're kiting, Michael Kennedy. With the Roadrunner, I'd recommend somewhere between 12 and 15 miles per hour max speed. With the Mojo, I'd say 8 to 10. But again, it depends on size. So AJ was kiting the Roadrunner on the one wheel yesterday in 30 mile an hour winds and got picked up and slammed. But it's not advisable to kite anything in 30 mile an hour winds. So yeah.
Oh, it jumped.
It jumped.
It jumpity-dumped.
Totally massive second that on investing in a small ground handling wing, even post tuition for fully fledged pilots, says Andre. Andre, dude, you're part of the reason. Like I actually talked about your videos when I was pitching Ozone on the idea. I was like, we have a wing that I hate. Like I really dislike the Groundhog. We bought a few of them, and I was just like, let's sell these really cheap. Like, this is not okay. We ended up going to phasers and fireflies, and those were okay. But we wanted something that really mimicked the feeling of a full-size wing. And I think the BGDC did a good job of that. I think that the Roadrunner's the next iteration. It's just a little better at not overshooting, which is really nice. So just awesome stuff. All right. Brian Waller says you can come to class and learn to kite like me, or you could be like Derek, who had his kite early and crushed and led the class. Yeah, Derek is annoyingly talented because he had so much experience.
Yeah. If you fly or kite at the beach and you don't get wet, do you still have to wash the wing?
No, certainly not. You just get all the sand out of it. Another great reason to have an Ozone. They have what they call an LBH, which is a leaky butthole, which they put in the trailing edge of the wing, and it's Velcro, and you can let out the trailing all the sand from the tip or the what's the wingtip? The wingtip.
That's the
Words.
one. Oh.
Pancit. I need some pancit apparently.
Okay.
All right. Let's see.
Best in-flight snacks. You're gonna have to ask Allie about that one.
Allie is the queen of in-flight snacks.
Queen of snacks. I'm still too nervous to fly. I don't even fly with my phone because there's nowhere to put it.
You took some pictures. I saw your selfies.
One time. Vasily would like to talk more about training and gear.
Vasily, send me an email or a message on Facebook or my email, eric@aviatorppg.com. The best person to talk to is Kristen. She is CHRISTAN at aviatorppg.com. She's the best person to talk to, but if you can't remember that, you can reach out to me, and I'll be happy to introduce you guys.
Yeah. Anime asks your opinions on Super versus Dudek comfort harness for weight-sensitive butt-wide A-beam pilot.
But why a beam? Honestly, I don't know. I haven't done a lot of research on what the best wide harness is for free flight. I'm sorry.
Can you repeat your answer on the no trimmers question?
Jeez, Michael, pay attention. Jeez. Long story short, some gliders are designed for paragliding. They're designed with longer risers because you have a lower hook end point. They oftentimes have snaps. They don't use trims because they want to use a speed bar only for the speed system so that you can quickly reduce your speed to enhance the safety of the glider. That's, I guess, the better answer than I gave last time.
Can you do a quick and dirty on an EN ABCD and EN DGCA?
John, or Gene, John, however you like to say your name. I can, but rather than doing that, please go to the videos on this channel. There are a ton. In the last month, we released 3 videos about how to choose the right glider for you that goes through all of those things in very, very good detail. Highly recommend you check that because it just takes too much information. DGCA is a load testing. EN is a certification system, but that would be the best way to go for sure. Watch those videos.
What is the perfect wind speed for beach flying?
Anything that doesn't drag you or blow you out to sea.
Well, that's very specific. Oh.
It's all right. James Stump says, what's my paramotor of choice as of now? Still a Parajet Maverick, brother. I love it. It is so much more comfortable than what I was flying before. So much smoother. There's not a question at all that was the best. For me, for my body shape, for the way that I like to fly, it's the best. It really is. Jamie Stotts
asks, is price the only reason to get a Roadrunner instead of a flyable wing in advance?
If you can spare the $1,300 to buy a Roadrunner, it's nice because it helps you protect your full-size wing later. So you can beat up your Roadrunner and not have to worry about its condition to fly because you're not going to fly it. It also enhances your ability to kite in higher winds, which is really nice because you're not going to be worried about being drugged, being picked up and thrown around, that kind of thing, because it is designed to keep you on the ground unless you're kiting it in crazy winds like AJ was yesterday.
So the no trimmer wings, follow-up question. How are they for paramotoring?
So how are they for paramotoring? Generally, they hang back a lot. It's like flying with your trims all the way in all the time. So generally, as you inflate, as you fly around, they're much closer to stall because as you increase your pitch angle, so as you're flying and you're increasing your pitch angle, adding power, you have a higher risk of stall because you're slowing the glider down. I personally prefer flying paramotor wings versus paraglider wings. Nathaniel Smith wants to know what's the best plane that I've flown. Somebody asked a question about will the RV stay in the same hangar as the Kit Fox. It's in the hangar with the Kit Fox and the Cessna 120 right now, which if anyone's looking for a beginner airplane, the Cessna 120 is almost out of annual and it's finally basically perfect. So that will be available soon. What's it like to fly? What's the best plane you've ever flown? Nathaniel Smith. Brother, I think the RV6 is my favorite plane I've ever flown. It's at least it's the best plane out of all the planes I've flown for budget, for usability, for short fields, for everything all around. I don't think you can beat an RV. They're just incredible. But I've flown a lot of incredible planes. I think I'm at 84 types now. I don't know. It really depends on the mission. Everything has a different mission. Kokalti wants to know if the oxygen kiting harness will fit him at 6'5". I'm 6'4", and it does fit me. It is snug. But I have yet to find a harness at 6'4", and I'm mostly torso. I have a 32-inch inseam, so I have yet to find anything that fits truly comfortably in the paragliding, kiting harness world.
Sometimes it does that.
Let's see.
Phobio asks, how lazy boy should I be in my harness while flying? I'm currently at 90 degrees and I feel like my posture is too good for my lazy life.
It really depends on the kind of pilot you are. So if you are a beginner pilot and you're just enjoying cruising around, being at 90 degrees is not awful. I would like to see you at 85 degrees, 80 degrees ideally at cruise power. For me personally, because I primarily do aerobatics. Like I fly a lot of aerobatics, and I like to be upside down, so I like to look at my wing. I actually have my motor set without power at about 24 to 26 degrees back, which is pretty aggressive. Most people keep it between 15 and 18. It really depends on what kind of pilot you want to be. Nels is set around probably 80 degrees. You're lean back a little bit, but not a lot. Yeah.
Not crazy. Tony asks, how come more people don't go to EFI?
Cost and complexity. It's an amazing system. It drastically reduces the fuel burn, but it does add complexity. It adds more failure points, and it's expensive. That's just the reality. I mean, you can get a carburetor for like $180, or you can get an EFI system for $1,500, I believe. So it's all part of it. Mike Brennan, good to see you, sir. Big Sail Boat Project, good to see you. Bob Blitheract, Tony, man, if you ever want to come in and learn here, you don't have to go to Minyard, but when you do, make sure you give him crap for me and tell him that he was the golden boy and he's the best student in our class, because we learned to fly together, and I love that guy to death. So, all right, man, we're an hour and 13 minutes into this, and I'm like, I'm out of drink.
You want me to make you more, or do you want to do it?
I'll let you. Thanks.
All right.
No, Kakalti, you'll be totally comfortable in a paramotor harness. Paramotor's no issue. I meant kiting and paragliding. I have yet to find a paragliding harness that is completely comfortable when standing, and this is the crucial difference.
You want the same?
Sure. The crucial difference is when you're standing up with a kiting harness and you're kiting the wing, it can be uncomfortable. But the moment that you sit down, the shoulder straps come loose, everything becomes comfortable. Even at 6'5", 6'7", we just trained a guy who was 6'7", and he had one leg. He was a freaking amazing guy. His name is Eric also. He crushed it, right? So even in the harnesses that aren't the most comfortable things in the world, when you're kiting, once you're sitting down, whether you're paragliding or paramotoring, it's very comfortable. So, yeah, the weight and the tension are off. And it's really, the issue with being so tall is that our shoulders are straining the shoulder straps, which are connected to the leg straps. They're pulling those leg straps into your groin, and that's where it becomes uncomfortable. So, let's see. Any other questions, guys? Any info on the Trike from Power to Fly that fits the Maverick? I did look at that, Mark. It is interesting. I did speak to the importer about it a few days ago. We are working on if anyone wants it, we can get a Foxy with the Maverick attachment point. That's very clean, the same way that the Rider attaches to the Foxy. For me, I don't want to say anything negative about any other brands. I think that they've done a really lovely job. I don't know about the build quality. I haven't observed it personally. It really depends on looking at it up close and testing it, and I have not done that, so I can't speak to it. I did say that if anyone wanted one, I would be happy to help him get the sale, but I don't have any personal experience. My only experience with the product, other products that they've created have been less than ideal. Let's put it that way. They were less than ideal. So.
Tony says that if you're held captive, you should wink now while I'm gone.
I just saw that. It's funny. Oh, man. Yes, Andre. I have been badgering Ozone about the same thing. Where are you guys living now? Are you still in Portugal, Andre? If you guys haven't checked out Andre's channel, I highly recommend it. He has done a great job of really dialing in the basics and the finesse of ground handling. Not just the basics, not just the expert stuff, but everything in between. And he's just a good dude. And his wife, Gemma, is a gem. And that sounds like a totally terrible pun, but I didn't even mean it to come out that way. I love her. I love them both. They've been to visit Aviator. We bump into each other at Coupe Car. And hopefully we get to fly together soon. So, yeah. All right. Vasily asks, Nell, what wing do you like best and why?
Well, I've only flown 2. So, my range is small as yet. And for now, at this point, I am flying the Spider 3 22 meter. And I prefer to fly that. It just comes up more easily, and it moves a little more easily. It's not quite as fluffy. I can feel more rather than just feeling like it's all fluff and cushion, which is good, and that's what I wanted when I was starting. But I'm enjoying having a little more physical awareness in connection there. Does that make sense?
No, it does, and it's a more engaging wing because you're feeling the bumps more. You're able to dive into turns and carve into turns better. It has a much larger speed range, even though you're still 15 to 20 miles an hour slower than me.
So somebody asked earlier how often we fly together. Honestly, we don't fly together that much because it's not a whole lot of fun.
I mean,
I go really slow.
You weigh 100 and nothing pounds.
I weigh nothing. So I'm like, and he's like, wah, wah, wah. My sound effects are on point tonight.
They were really good.
Right?
Those are like little boy level sound effects. I like it. Oh, man.
Andre says they're in Portugal.
All right. We will have to come and see you, Andre. Seriously, I would love to come and visit. I would absolutely love that. And it's something that's, I am not near the free flight pilot that most Europeans are. And so I am desperate to work on that. And we've been talking for years about eventually moving out west to some place that we can free fly. So that may be in the cards for the future. You never know.
Never know.
Let's see. Khalifa asks if I recommend the Dolpo 3 or the Mojo, regardless of marketing. I can't answer that, partly because I sell the Mojo. So anybody who sells something, you should take their words and make sure you confirm them with their customers. Make sure that you're actually getting real information, because a lot of the salespeople in this, especially in this space, just BS. They say that theirs is the best, blah, blah, blah. I've never flown the Dolpo. ITV's wings generally are a lot heavier than Ozone's. I have flown a few of ITV's wings. I've flown the Boxer GT and the, what's the one that Mustache Boy flew in the Icarus?
Oh, shoot.
I can't remember. Anyway, I've flown a couple of them.
Trey.
Yeah, Trey German.
I remember the guy's name, but I don't remember the wing's name.
Mustache Boy. It was just easier. It was easier.
I knew who you meant.
And I'm not a huge fan of their wings in general, but I have not flown the Dolpo, so I can't speak to it. I love the Mojo. The Mojo is getting a replacement sometime late this year. The Mojo Power 2 I have been flying. Absolutely love it. It's amazing. It is a great advancement on the Mojo. It's not going to stop me from flying the Mojo, though. It just turns better. Realistically, it's a little more stable in forward and back oscillation, and it's a little more balanced in the turning. You don't have to use a 3-step pull. You can do a 2-step pull, or even 1 step and then a continuation, and it flies and carves into turns much better.
Piper, is that what you were looking for?
No, I haven't flown the Piper yet. Okay. Actually, that wing is very interesting to me. I watched how it launches, and I'm not impressed at all. But I'm very impressed with the way it retains energy. I was watching the guys fly that at Palm Bay, but I watched them fly it at Kupa Car, and first off, insanely talented pilot. Holy crap. Flying the Boxer 220 Sky engine, but totally scary, totally scary. But it retains energy in a way that it definitely intrigues me. It's definitely a unit that I would consider looking into in the future for sure.
Yeah. High Flyer says, as a very active pilot on a reflex wing, if you hit very bad air, would you rather trimmers out and trust the wing, or put the trimmers in and fly active?
Awesome question.
Good question.
I've addressed this in the past in other episodes. For me, I've done both. And I did both out of necessity. So for years, I was always a trimmers in, actively fly. I remember being in Illinois at the first Halloween fly-in that Mixer put on. And the air was crap. And we were flying down to the river. And it was myself, Jeff Goen, and a few others. And we were active flying. We were working at it. And I was flying a Hadron at the time. Hadron 20 meter, my first one. I had 3 of those eventually, or 4 of those eventually. But I flew it actively, worked really hard, came back exhausted. And then fast forward about 2 years later, maybe a year later, I was in Czech Republic, and we're flying with just some of the best pilots in the world. Ryan Shaw is an incredibly talented pilot. All the guys from Nirvana are really talented pilots, and we're going on cross countries for 2-3 hours at a time. And they were trims out on speed bar the whole flight. If they weren't making turns, trimmed out bar whole flight. And it was work. I mean, there was a point as we're coming up to one of our locations, we kind of crossed 2 mountain ranges, in the snow, across the mountain range, drop down. There's this beautiful white castle, not the burger joint, an actual white castle. and my legs are shaking from holding bar for so long.
Aw.
And it was like I landed and I thought I was going to land on my face because my legs were so exhausted. And in that situation, we did all those flights for 10 days, all full bar, all full reflex, and nobody experienced a collapse. My intelligent perspective is, I'm using air quotes around intelligent. I have done full bar, full reflex, and to me, it's much like the Titanic. It's not a question. It's not unsinkable. It can still collapse, and when it does, it's extraordinarily violent. It happened to me. I was flying back from Jeff Gowen's house. I'd gone up to help him move, of all things. It's about an hour drive, about a 30-minute flight in a paramotor, about a 6-minute flight in the airplane. And I was flying back. It was midday. Had run 22. And I was on full bar just past, I was a mile and a half from the chalet where I was going to land. And it was turbulent. And I hit a thermal that rocked me. We're going, bam! And it hit so hard that I dumped bar and had 100% collapse. And it was just like snap, snivel. And I'm like grabbing brakes, grabbing trim, and trying to get the wing reopened. And I was a couple thousand feet up. I had plenty of time. I had a reserve. But again, I'm flying an expert level wing. It's an END rated wing, and I was flying in bad conditions. So it's not something that should scare you. It's just make you aware that, like, I don't know if the wing collapsed because I dumped bar or if the wing had already begun the collapsing process, but I got hit so hard and I got swung so far forward, I knew that there was a major issue. So I dumped bar to get myself to the safest position possible.
James Howie asks, is the Sirocco 2 getting an advancement as well?
It is. The Sirocco 2 will get an advancement in about a year and a half. The Speedster 2 will have an advancement sooner. Currently, Ian's certification testing is shut down, so there's no ETA on this. I have been flying. I flew in Palm Bay and in Lake Wales. We flew the Speedster 3, which is the pre-release version, pre-testing. It is a very nice step forward. I have to give credit where credit is due. They've done a really nice job of increasing the handling and considerably increasing the efficiency. The way that they describe it is that the leading edge of the wing, so if this is a wing, that looks more wingish. If this is a wing, they were able to decrease the drag on the forward, quarter of the wing, forward eighth of a wing, and that the decrease in drag is so significant that they were able to increase the efficiency. I would estimate 15 to 20% easily. Wow. So something to look forward to in the future, maybe late summer or the fall. We don't know when exactly. The wing is finished. The wing is flying. Johnson Q flew it a whole bunch. Lauren Michaels flew it a whole bunch. We can all speak to it. In fact, Ozone released a video on their Instagram and Facebook last week that shows us flying those wings. It's a lot of fun, guys. It's a lot of fun. And if you want to see the Mojo 2 flying, the Palm Bay video that we released last week, I think it was, maybe 2 weeks ago, there's a sunset in the thumbnail. That was flying the Mojo 2.
Yeah. Bob Blitherack says, my entire AO when I'm home is under the layer cake. Shouldn't I give approach a heads up when I fly, as well as stay away from the runway glide slopes?
I would definitely stay away from the glide slopes, but the most important thing is to make sure that you are low enough to avoid the airspace completely. The controllers don't need to hear from you if you're going to avoid the airspace. If you have a desire to enter the airspace, and this is something you absolutely can do legally with permission from the controlling agency. So if you reach out to the tower and say, hi, I would like to fly in this area at this time, at this altitude, you probably won't be able to track me. Here's what I'll do. They have the right to say no, but they oftentimes want to help you fly. They're so excited to see people fly. So my thought process is that you most likely could fly in that airspace if they give you permission. They may require a transponder or they may require ADS-B, but you certainly don't have to contact them before you fly below it. I frequently, before all this freaking COVID stuff, I would fly to Tampa about 2 to 3 times a month for meetings with my entrepreneurs group. And I would call the Tampa approach when I take off here and get flight following with the request to fly through the Bravo and then land at the airport I'm landing at. And they would never clear me into the Bravo. Not one time, unless I'm flying into St. Pete. Then they'll clear me into the Bravo so I can stay like a couple thousand feet over the bay. Otherwise, they never clear me into the Bravo. I have to stay below Bravo, and then finally get them off the phone, like, okay, airport in sight, so I can switch over to the local airport frequency so I can make sure I'm not dealing with traffic. So they don't want to deal with you. They'd rather you just stay below it if you're not going to be in a position. So there's no reason to call in that situation.
Kurt Nuroth asks, does the Ozone, you're scrolling too far.
Oh, sorry.
Does the Ozone Roadrunner come with the kiting harness? And do you still sell the Aviator kiting harness?
It doesn't come with one, but we do still sell the kiting harness, the Aviator one. Both are available on the website. I think that Craig is doing an amazing job of sharing links. So Craig, feel free to share some links to those two items, and we'll be more than happy to make that happen for you. Big shout out to Shandor. Congratulations on your first flight, sir. Very, very excited for you. I'm glad to see you in the sky, sir. Congratulations. You looked fantastic on that launch. Well done. Well done. And Linda Anderson, thank you so much. You sweet, sweet lady.
Aww.
Wow, she said $10 in the chat. I just finally activated super chats. I didn't know what they were, and people have been like really, really kind. So thank you all very much. I appreciate
More
it.
ramen.
More ramen.
Fancy ramen.
That's the problem with fancy ramen. It costs like $1.40 now.
Oh, big spenders. Big spenders.
Absolutely. Man. Too cool, guys. Well, thank you all so much for being here. 141 of you watching now, only 45 likes. So if you guys have enjoyed this show, please leave a like on the video. If you have any other questions or things you'd like to discuss, let us know. Kevin Kafly asks, is it possible to demo the Roadrunner? Kevin, sure. And in fact, I think you're one of our dealers. If you're not a dealer, just contact Kristen. We currently won't be able to demo anything until June because we sold out of the first ones we got, aside from the ones we kept for the schools. And I'm stealing one so I can teach my kids to kite because we have like a 140-yard long hill, and they're going to be flying down the hill. And I'm excited about it.
It's going to be great.
Are you excited?
Yeah.
August is going to crush it.
He is.
Yeah.
Eventually, he's very, very type A. He's going to be really down on himself at first, probably.
He'll be all right.
I shouldn't project that on him. He's going to be awesome.
Guys, what a great show. This is our highest turnout in quite a while. Over 140 people watching. At one point, there was over 150. It's just great to be back with you guys. I told Nell this morning, I was like, I don't have any plans for the show tonight. She's like, are you going to do it? And I was like, I think so. I need to get Yankee Paramotor in here. We need to do Yankee on the show. Fun. He's got so many interesting perspectives. He's the only person I've ever met who's self-trained, who did it logically and carefully. And like, don't get me wrong, like, brother, I love you. You could have saved yourself so much effort, but I really respect the way that you've done things. So one of these days we'll have you on the show. It'd be really kind of fun. Caleb Johnson, 2 nights in a row. I love it. Can't wait to meet your wife. Bring her down here. We have a guest house available right behind the camera. And we actually have my office bus, which is the short bus. That's a real thing. After show. People are asking for an after show. We can do an after show.
We can do an after show.
Yeah, if you guys want to do an after show, we can do that. I will not leave it up live. I'm just going to let people in. I'm going to shut down the live stream because who knows what happens. An after show the other day that went on for 5.5 hours.
Oh, we're not doing that.
I didn't watch the whole thing. Craig Taylor was like, hey, there's an after show. And I was like, 5.5 hours? It's painful.
Apparently, it was a really good time for some people. So
apparently, Kakalsi, if you're looking for a kiting harness, I would get an Aviator kiting harness because those have straps. It's not a flying harness. This is kiting only. So it's plastic buckles. It's designed that way to be really minimalistic, but that you can stretch loose all the way out, and that's a really good thing to do. So at 6'5", you would have no issue with that harness whatsoever. Seth Roberts did 5,000 push-ups in his live stream. It took 17 hours. Holy crap, Seth!
That's a lot of push-ups.
I know that was like a self-gratifying promotional post because you want to get my viewers to your thing, but like I'm genuinely impressed. Like
that's hilarious.
Like, dude. For real. Mr. Noob Kid Weekend says, bruh, your wife. Bruh. I know. She hot though, right?
Oh my God. Oh, Lord.
Bruh, your wife. This is my favorite thing. Good night, Brian. This is literally my favorite thing about when you're like, back in the day, we used to do live streams and we get a lot of people. At one point we had 120,000 people watching live. We had huge streams, and it's always really funny to me because you get such different personalities. Like you get people who come in, they're like super nice, and other people who are like genuinely evil. And it's like, guys, like you're not being charged for this. Be nice. Seth, I see you. I see you, bud. And I tell you what, if you can do 5,000 push-ups, Seth, you can come learn to fly. So don't be a weenie. Click the link in the description right now, Seth. I got spaces available next month. And if you don't come learn to fly, I expect 15,000 push-ups in 20 hours, or you're not a real man. Just saying.
I can't do 5,000 push-ups, but I can fly.
Dude, this girl right here, she's got you beat. Let's see you meet her. Come on now. I can play this game.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, my gosh. Brian, love you too, brother. Good Derek, good night.
God.
I hope that Leanne flies tomorrow.
Yes.
Seriously, that'd be amazing.
I hope she flies tomorrow.
Andre, a pleasure. We're going to do an after show, so if anyone wants to join us live, we will. I'll share the details to the Zoom call here in just a moment. I actually have to set the Zoom call up, so you'll have to give me a moment. But I will be happy to share that. There's a question from PPG Addict, which I believe is James Stumpf, asking, he said, I've never heard you say anything good or bad about the Scouts. Any thoughts? I'll answer this because, very frankly, I actually imported the very first Scout to the U.S. for Shane and Jeff. I love flying it in the air. It's one of my favorites, one of my very favorite units to fly in the air. I hate launching it. It's ridiculously fragile. Like, I know a guy whose entire unit broke because he hit a bump in his pickup truck when it was in the back of the truck, right? So for beginners, totally not apps. Like for an expert pilot, like someone like myself, it should be the unit I fly. It should be the unit that I want to fly. But because of the way that it leans forward and because of the way that the weight feels, I choose not to fly a Scout just because of weight and it leaning low on takeoff. The way that the lines catch in the outside hoop annoys me. There are a few things that annoy me on it. It has the best geometry of any paramotor as far as weight shift in aerobatics. If you're an aerobatic pilot, you should definitely look at it. But that's the only reason.
It's a very specific unit.
Yeah.
It's like blue cheese.
Yeah, if you love blue cheese, you love blue cheese.
Yeah, like it's and it works great and it's so good. But if it's not your thing, it's not your thing.
Yeah. I don't know. Guys, if you haven't yet, click subscribe, hit the notification bell. We go live every Tuesday at 8 p.m., at least on the days that we remember to. And, you know...
And if we don't remember, our children remind us now.
They do, because they want to be part of the pre-show. Any tips on changing the weather? Need some more calm days. Guys, we have so much hot air at Aviator. There's like... All of our instructors can tell stories like you wouldn't believe. We've told everyone that we're trying to like change the weather, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Blowing in the direction of the north.
Seth Roberts says, but Tucker got though. No. And guys, that's my thing is like the reality is you might be best suited in a Scout. Like a Scout might be best suited for you if you're an acro pilot and you're very strong and you're able to move your body in a way like that. Like maybe that's the right unit for you. I have had 3 Scouts personally. My third one will be my last because I was standing there, had a Nivik Doberman 17, I believe it was. Brand new Scout, brand new Doberman. And it sucked a line into the prop, not the Scout's fault. Trashed the wing. Like trashed it. Damaged the Scout. And then my very next flight, I launched and the throttle cable went through the netting because the netting is super loose. So the throttle cable went through the netting into the prop and killed the engine at about 20 feet. So I had a nice downwind landing. Yeah. So, yeah. Great comment from our friend John DeJong. He said, giveaway, free Aviator Sun and Fun decals. Do we have Sun and Fun ones too? I only saw the Florida Fun Fest. We do have a crud ton of Florida Fun Fest Aviator decals from our friends at Alley Cat Signs. Alley Cat Signs, it's spelled with a K-A-T. You can find them on Google, Facebook, everywhere else. Leave them a great review, and we will give away some of these super sweet decals from an event that hopefully you were at if you win it. If you would like to win some free decals, please leave a comment down below. Make sure you share this on your Facebook profile, Twitter, Instagram, anywhere else. Share our YouTube channel. You don't have to share this video. Go through our YouTube and find a video that you like the most. Find a video that's spoken to your heart, that's encouraged you to live beyond yourself, that's encouraged you to live beyond your fears, that's encouraged you to, stop being afraid. Just stop hiding and be true to yourself. And share that with your friends and family. And leave a comment in the chat. We'll pick someone live in just a moment. And then we'll switch over to the after show with 137 people watching. We were at 155 a second ago. Pretty exciting. I guess we got mentioned somewhere. They don't like blue cheese. Love it. Love it. Kevin, we will put it in the chat here. No problem, my friend. No problem at all.
Also, he says you just need to buy yourself a better location.
I just need to buy myself a better location?
No, for flying. If your weather's bad, you have to buy a better location.
Move to Florida, basically, is the answer. Because the weather's bad the last couple of days. Although they got to tow 7 of the 8 students this morning and do 8 tandems. Tomorrow morning's taxi practice day. Very excited about that. Very, very excited. Nice. Oh, Bob broke his Aviator mug. Bob, I will give you a free Aviator mug. Bob, you get a free Aviator mug and you get some stickers. But they're going to be the Florida Fun Fest stickers, which are very limited edition. So if you want anything else, let us know. Please send me an email, and I'm going to forward it over to Allie so she can get that shipped out for you. So Spaz Attack, good to see you, my friend. We're going to the after show in just a moment. To everyone who's watched this episode, I'm not ending things right now. I'm just going to end the recording for the podcasters listening on iTunes and elsewhere. If you are listening to this after the fact, please join us for the live show. We love the interaction. We love answering your questions. We love being a part of things. Michael Kennedy says that the show is so fun his patients are now even watching with him. Michael Kennedy and Michael Kennedy's patients, shout out to you guys. I hope you're in good hands. He seems to be paying a lot of attention to his YouTube. I'm a little concerned. But Angela Preslick says that she broke her mug too. Angela, if that's true, I trust you, and you can email me also.
Oh, it's that Tony says that's my mug too.
These
broken mugs.
All right, if you guys have shared the video, shared this experience with someone else, whether it's this video or one other video that spoke to your heart and encourage you to try to encourage others to live beyond their fears and do more, leave a comment now. I will get you guys a Zoom chat in just a moment. I'm going to stop the recording. To iTunes and everybody else, we'll see you soon. All right, recording has stopped.
Shall I?
Let me get Zoom going. Hang on one second. I need this keyboard. Nick Griffith says his mug is fine. Let's see if I can log in here or not. Hopefully I'm still logged in. You guys having fun yet? Seth, I'll give you free stickers if you sign up for training. All right? I got you, boo. I got you.
Free stickers.
I'll give you a bunch of free stickers if you sign up for training just because I need you. I need you as part of my life. Let's make it happen, bro.
Man.
All right, who's going to join us for the after show? The after show is coming very, very soon. I'm going to go ahead and put this link in the chat. And we've got 150 people watching, so we'll keep this going for now. Let's see. Hopefully Craig Taylor helps me moderate.
David Nickerson says, take a look at my mug and tell me it doesn't need fixing.
Oh, gosh. I want to see David Nickerson's mug.
He means his face.
No, I mean, I want to see it, too.
Okay.
I like his face. I like Dave's face. Dave's face is one of my favorite faces. He's pretty much the greatest.
It's a good face.
Great face, David.
Lucien wants a Fun Fest sticker.
Lucien, you may have a Fun Fest sticker, sir. Andrew Finnegan's in there.
Bring your mug to Florida and we will give you a Fun Fest sticker.
There you go. There you go. But you better bring whiskey, Lucien. I miss you, brother. I miss you. We got a whole group of people in here. Great to see everybody. Let me see if I can set this up so we can get the Zoom split going. Nice sticker there, Andrew. People are joining in. Let me get over here really quickly to Zoom split and switch.
Allie's in the chat.
Allie!
Hi, Allie. I forgot to reply to your text. I'm a terrible friend.
Allie was supposed to come over tonight and be on the live stream with us, and she failed us. I'm super sad.
Fausto47 asks, how long is the training waiting list? Not long.
Buddy, you can actually be here for training this month or next. Your choice. We have availability right now. I do need to listen in on the audio on this. I just realized they could be talking, and I can't hear them.
Yeah. Are we... So just let me know when we're going off air here.
We'll go off air soon.
Okay.
Let's see.
So the wait list is very short. We have openings end of May.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and kill KC8's audio because he's got background noise. Caleb Johnson. Yeah, so guys, we actually have space available May 30th, as well as we have 23 seats available in June. We have 28 seats available in July, 26 seats available in August, around 18 seats available in September. We also have our class in Pennsylvania, August 22nd, and that is a Aviator class in Pennsylvania, which is pretty exciting.
Lucian says the Zoom address is invalid, but there are a lot of people on Zoom right now, Lucian. So
Lucille, you're wrong.
I don't know what to tell you, man.
Lucy, I love you, but you're wrong. I'll put the whole thing in 1 second. I got Craig Taylor coming in. That's how you know it's real. Let's see. Copy invitation coming in.
Good night, Vertical Lines. Have a great night.
Mike, Brendan, great to see you. Yeah, I know. It was just basically what we did was we opened the second school, and we trained a ton of people back to back to back, with the intent of being able to serve as many people as we could. And it kind of shot us in the foot a little bit because we ended up without a backlog, which is really, really weird. So
there we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Now I can hear shit.
Now you can hear? Good.
What? Can you see me?
I can see you.
Holy shit.
Actually, I can't see you, Angela. I don't think your actual name is Angela, is it?
We've never been to these after show stuff.
Welcome. Fafusto, actually, price for training may be changing slightly.
This is crazy.
Welcome.
You add a lot to the sport. You know, and have you not? What crazy? Did you see his last? There's episode 1 when he started.
Which one? Paramotor Crazies? No, I haven't seen that yet. Oh, we got Pine Hollow Auto Diagnostics in the chat. He's Ivan. He's in the class right now. Glad to have you, brother. Awesome.
That is so.
All right.
All right.
We got Zoom here. Are we
who else is on here? Where's the chat?
The chat is still on YouTube, or right here. You can jump into the chat on the side. I'm going to go ahead and shut down the stream for everybody who's watching. If you streamers want me to play the stream of the after show, I can do that. It's up to you guys. You guys decide.
Oh, that's cool. Right on.
What's going on, Bob Garber?
Hey, guys.
Hey, brother. Good to see you, my friend.
And oh, you're missing it now. We lost them.
Aw. This is like the quietest freaking chat ever. I love it.
There are no faces.
There's no.
So I did
more after last night.
What was that?
I did something stupid today.
What'd you do?
I did not go kiting on the first perfect kiting day in 3 weeks.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
You went to bed early last night, too. You weren't up till 3 a.m. like everybody else.
No, I had a 9 a.m. teleconference this morning, so I was kind of like, yeah, I'm first time in a long time.
I was live on his wife, and I didn't realize it.
Angela, what's your real name?
Face of them. Didn't know.
I don't know what Angela's talking. He's not talking to us. Oh, man. John Kelly, thanks for watching. Mike Brennan, we'll stream it. Richard, we'll stream it. No worries, guys. More than happy to. For everybody who's in the chat right now on YouTube or here, please hit the like button. And thanks for being here. I want to give a shout-out to my boy, Andrew Finnegan. Because
what?
Andrew and freaking Bob Garber went on for 5 hours having conversations. And they said nice things about Aviator. And I was like, this is the nicest people ever. I love them. And Andrew said that he's not going to buy his next motor from us because he's given us too much money. And I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, I said that, but I bought a stuff sack from you yesterday. Right after the show.
I know that place.
I love it. Oh, man. What's up, Mark? Mark Rogers.
Hey.
Howdy, brother. Good to see you, man. Oh, man.
See, I'm still waiting for Craig Taylor to come over to the mainland. We'll go kiting together one of these days. He's like 20 miles, if you line of sight, 20 miles away from me.
Why don't you take a ferry over and go kite on the beach? You can use his wing.
I'll bring my own over, but still, these days getting a ferry over there is a headache.
I have to imagine so. It's like one of those things where you're dealing with so many constraints. We had a student contact us this past week who's coming to train at the end of the month, and he's coming from rural Alaska, accessible only by bush plane. And the rules there are that you leave. So the rule in Florida is if you fly in, they want you to do a 2-week quarantine. So you'd have to leave now, like leave today, fly in, do a 2-week quarantine here, fly home, do a 2-week quarantine at home, and then re-enter his job. So we'd have to have 6 weeks off. And he's like, what can we do? I know that we're past the date. I'm going to give up my deposit. I'm like, dude, we're going to take care of you. Please, like, please don't even worry. Like, it's like, that's why we have a spot May 30th. Like, there's not even a question that we're going to serve this poor guy. Like, seriously, it's awful.
If you're gonna stream, I'll hop on my computer.
Okay.
So I can hear. 'Cause I
Love
can't
you.
hear.
Sorry you can hear.
It's okay.
We don't have headphones that have 2 things, so they all ask.
Yeah.
They can hear.
On Zoom?
Yeah, they can hear.
Hey.
Yeah, they can hear people talking on Zoom.
Really?
Yeah. People on the stream, if you can hear us talking on Zoom, please say yes you can. Because
Oh yeah, we can hear both of you.
okay,
Yeah, you're on there.
can we hear you guys? Can we hear the people talking on Zoom? That's the question. Like, can
Yes,
people hear
can.
Bob Garber
Yes.
talking? Craig says yes. Okay, we're good. We're good.
Yeah, here, everybody.
Crazy Uncle Bob is here. That's exciting.
They're still holding you to that quarantine in Florida, where you have to stay there so many days once you come in the state, or what?
If you're coming from a hot zone, yeah, they want you to stay. Basically, just trying to keep everyone safe around you. What's up, Chris? Mr. Albright.
How hot can
How do you
middle of nowhere
consider Alaska a hot zone?
Yeah, how is that possible?
Like, come on.
I have questions, but the reality is, okay, so this is maybe why. So we've asked our students, if you're a student of Aviator and you're coming in to train, in order to keep the instructors and your fellow students safe, we ask that they do a 2-week quarantine. So they have to do a 2-week quarantine before they come, and they can't take air travel to get here. So we're becoming more lenient on that, but like just out of like abundance of caution, we're like, hey, we really want to keep people safe. This is the best way to do that, et cetera, et cetera. So that's
Alaska's like the summary of your life under quarantine.
Right. Pretty much. Hey, there's Frank. That's who I'm talking about. Frank's here. What's up, Frank? Oh, he's not talking tonight. Frank, good to see you, buddy.
He said 2 cases in Alaska.
Yeah, yeah. Walter,
Should I put her,
Walter
should I put her
wants
on
to
the
know-
Roadrunner?
Yes. How old is she?
She's 9.
Yeah, my 8-year-old's going on the Roadrunner 100%. 100%.
My wife's like, no. I'm like, it's not what you think.
100%.
She's not gonna fly. Shh.
No.
Andrew, I saw the Roadrunner video. How you liking it?
Haven't taken it to a field yet because down here there's fences around all the fields.
Unlike Alaska.
I'll get
and
mine out tomorrow. I'll let you guys know.
Yeah,
Now the grand unboxing video. We need the grand.
Yeah, I got
flying video.
I got my permit and license and the PPG2, all that stuff, and the insurance, and it's going snail mail to the city, and that's the only way I can get it in there right now.
Expect another 6 to 12 weeks.
So I gotta wait for snail mail to come back, and then I can go down the street and be really quiet and take off quiet, and then go around the corner quiet, and then we can fly where. It's like
It's a great place to fly, though. It really is.
yeah, I know.
Beautiful.
Mike flies there, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Brown.
Travis has some incredible stories of flying there. Like the FAA getting called saying they were flying over a restaurant and all this stuff. And my favorite story, like without a question, my favorite story of flying there that I've heard to date is Travis was flying down the interstate, like along the side of the interstate like 500 feet above the grass, right? And the police got called because he was flying over the interstate carrying a rocket launcher.
Ouch.
I swear to God, you can't make it up.
Were they mistaking the motor for a rocket launcher or what?
No, they literally thought he had a rocket launcher strapped across his lap. and that he was flying over the interstate with intent to do something bad. He clearly didn't have a rocket launcher, and there's no part of his body that could be construed as a rocket launcher. Maybe his arm. But it's pretty
It wasn't
hairy.
his arm, Eric.
Shut up, Lucy.
Yeah, we're having problems because I hang out in the chat. There's one guy to the north, like far away in a development, and he complains, and all I can think of is, how does a guy complaining have that much power?
Well, that's why it's so important to be gracious. That's why it's so.
Yeah, we're going the other way too. Yeah,
it's imperative. If you're not gracious,
yeah.
I mean, our first rule of our school is it's crass, but it's like, don't be a turd, right? Like, be kind, And if you can't,
Oh, that's not the word.
Yeah, that's not the word. You're right. This is the family friendly version. But somebody just farted. Nice job. Oh my goodness.
Eric, a small question about the training. So, according to the rules in Florida right now, you have to come to Florida, then quarantine for 2 weeks, and then you can start the training?
No, right now they've opened it back up. For our rules are simply that we ask that, and this may be changing. This is the 2 classes that are currently in process. We're asking that people quarantine and do minimal social interaction for the 2 weeks beginning before their class. So if you were to come to May 30th, we'd say that May 14th we'd ask, or May 16th we'd ask, hey, don't go to restaurants, don't go to bars, don't fly down here, hop in your car and drive. Be as courteous as you can, just for the safety of your classmates and yourself and the instructors. With the understanding that if there is an outbreak in class, we'd have to cancel class. Right, because we can't extend. So we're issuing masks, which are actually really cool Aviator masks that apparently are going to be a collector's item, and everyone wants them. But we have we have Aviator masks that we had made, and so everyone in the classroom is wearing a mask because they're within 6 feet, and then outside, the majority of the work is not close encounters. So. We're doing our best just to sanitize everything. When a student helmet is generally shared between 2 students, so it gets a plastic cover over the microphone. It gets Lysoled after every use. It seems silly, but we're trying to be overly cautious. If we can be overly cautious, we can continue to operate. We have been considered an essential business by the state government because we're a flight training school, and they don't define whether it's fixed wing or not. But we wanted to do what we could to say, hey, we don't want to create an outbreak in this tiny environment because, guys, like training at Aviator, and as the students here, Mark and Andrew and all the other guys in the chat, Lucy, and they can say, like, you're in tight quarters and you are like hugging everybody, high-fiving everybody. We're like, everyone's elbow bumping instead of hugging now. It's weird. But that's just how it is. Like, we're doing our best to keep everybody as safe as we possibly can.
Right.
Definitely got to get those Aviator masks up on the website, though. That'd be perfect.
I got to get more made.
I buy one.
I got to get more
Yeah,
made.
yeah. We need an Aviator mask here too.
They were expensive and they were tough to get on short notice. I thought 2 weeks would be plenty of time to get them made, and apparently I have no idea why, but there's like this massive backlog of people wanting masks. I have no idea why.
Do you have one? Can you show it?
I have one in my car, but I don't have the nice one. I will get them. I'll get them up on the website. I think we have like 5 extras, but I have to order more for the next class. So yeah, we issued 2 to every student because they're washable.
I'm asking about the quarantine because we're in New York City right now. So we've been quarantined since early February, I guess, just staying home. So yeah.
You and Lucian, where are you in the city, Vasily?
It's Staten Island.
You're in Staten Island? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Lucian's in Manhattan.
Brooklyn.
Sorry, I forgot that you're not rich. Love you, Lucy. But yeah, so we would encourage you to drive down, and we have students right now who've come from Illinois, who've come from all over the country, that they're using gloves when they get fuel. It seems like overkill, but like we always push safety to a point of overkill, always in our business, and so we'll continue doing that, even though it's a total pain in the butt. Like, it really genuinely is a pain in the butt to be as cautious as we're being.
I don't think there's an overkill when you're talking about safety, right?
Say again, Vasily?
It's definitely worth it, though. we've been locked down for actually just coming up on 2 solid months now, and if you save one person from going through that hell, it's worth it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Eric, I thought you were
house.
just showing off when you were talking about all that don't go to bars and restaurants thing. Like, what the fuck is a bar or a restaurant? A bar or a restaurant in months.
No, so the funny thing is, this is
Talking
something
about.
we've talked about doing this for like 4 years, and we're finally doing it. So we have a couple people who are catering. Bakina, one of our past students, Lulu, Chris's girlfriend, and a couple of their assistants are catering all the meals at Aviator. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner at Aviator, so no one has any need to go elsewhere, and it's ridiculously cheap. But like literally, it's designed to say, okay, let's make sure everyone stays in the same place, because when we first had this happen, you know, we still had people who were going to the gym, we still had people who were going to get food. You know, and we're like, hey, you guys have to quarantine. They're like, well, we don't have food, and it's like, well, how do we solve that problem? You know. So now everyone's eating together for $25 a day. They get 3 meals a day, and you can't eat for that in Lake Wales, even on the dollar menu. I mean, you just can't. So it's kind of cool because people are like meshing together. And for the past students, you guys know how close the classes get, but now they're even more close. They're even more engaged. There's even more contact because, you know, instead of having a 3-hour break for lunch, it's like, hey, we're going to have an hour break for lunch, and then we're going to watch a movie together, and then we're going to start class again. So, kind of cool.
Hey, Eric. I want to say hi.
Hey, Linda. How you
Are you
doing?
guys still doing the ground school together?
Oh, yeah. We're still doing ground school, but everyone's wearing masks.
Hey, Linda, you got to get Robert in here.
Hi, Bob. Hi, Bob. How are you?
We got to get Linda up in the air.
Linda needs to fly.
Linda has to fly
Andrew, finally.
Linda has to fly a motor, but before Robert gets his motor, Linda has to be up there.
I like it.
Oh yeah.
Linda,
All she has to do is tell Robert. It's like,
yep.
Linda, we have
she has to just tell him it's like, I want to fly, and Robert will make it happen.
I do. I want a tandem.
Linda, we have an all-girls class. We have an all-girls class.
Linda.
All-girls class October 3rd. Linda, come on down.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I'm going to work on Monday. I'm going to say bye. I'm leaving. I'm retiring. See you later. I got
like
things
it.
to do.
About half
Robert
the
doesn't have
employees
his
at
tandem
Aviator.
yet, does he?
Yeah.
Like half the employees at
Right.
Aviator have done that. So I think
No, you got
good
you got
hands.
you got to be at Torrey Pines. Robert comes by and you're like, "Hey, Robert, what?"
Exactly. He's the best. He's the best.
He
You
is.
have to fly by him on a motor, though, you know. While he's up there thermaling, just fly on by and wave at him.
I know. You would have
She
a
can
good
shame
laugh.
him into it. No problem.
You'd be like, what? It would be funny. That would be funny. You'd be like freaking out. My mom! That's my mom up there! He'd be like going crazy. Yeah.
I'd love that. My mom has not flown on her own. She flew when she was 16 in an airplane. And she's done a bunch of tandems with me and my dad, but she doesn't have an interest in flying on her own, which is kind of sad because she'd be really good at it. So maybe someday.
See, even if I had 500 hours under my belt, I still don't think I'd bring my mother up. It's just, you know.
I haven't taken my kids up. I mean, I have thousands of hours, and I have not even taken my kids up because of the same thing. And now I want to, but now I want to make a big production out of it. Like I want to I've taken my wife several times. Now she flies on her own, and like I've wanted to do it, but now I want to like 360 camera it. I want to make sure that there's like a whole experience where I capture the audio because I know they're going to be overjoyed. And like I've taken them each flying in the airplane, but I'm anxious. I'm really anxious to take them in the paramotor. Not like nervous anxious, just really excited. Like I know that it's going to be a very visceral, exciting thing for them.
It's definitely a big difference going from flying in an aircraft where you're in the cockpit to being out and being the cockpit.
No doubt. No doubt.
I'd love to reach the point where I can take my grandkids up at some point down the road. I still remember my memory of my youngest son, and took him up when he was like 2-3 years old in I don't know, was it 182, and it was like the best thing in the world. It was like the highlight of probably of the highlight of my life at that point. You know, it's like
That's
I'm taking
awesome.
my son flying.
That's awesome. Crazy Uncle Bob, you raised your hand. What's up, brother? Oh.
Bobby B. Bobby.
Crazy.
Oh, I got another question.
What you got, brother?
Island.
Hi, Bobby B.
Is there any way to Island? Is there any way to get around the 30 minutes after sunset rule? Because I want to fly over the fireworks on Independence Day.
Oh man, that's an awesome question and a great idea. The reality is that sadly, no. So hang on one second, I gotta sneeze. Sorry, I had to sneeze. So the deal is this, and we submitted. We submitted to the FAA a petition. We submitted to the FAA a petition trying to get a waiver to fly at night because our Paradigm team flies at night. We wanted to practice at night. And in an air show, we are operating under an air show waiver. And in that situation, we are able to, no problem, fly at night legally. But they said it was non-waivable outside of an air show box waiver. So we could not do anything that was in that situation, you know, to practice night flying was not legal, was not doable. And as much as we wanted to, we couldn't. So we've tried, but the 30 minutes of after sunset, I'll tell you, if you land 30 minutes after sunset, it's freaking dark. Like it is not light. Over the fireworks, I've done it. I've done the over the fireworks thing. I've actually done the through the fireworks thing on a paramotor in the Bahamas. There's a video on my channel. If you'd like to watch it, I will link it really quick in the chat. It's pretty freaking crazy because they didn't tell us until right before we took off that there'd be fireworks at all. And all of a sudden there was this massive fireworks display that we were flying through, which was terrifying. And then I had to land a tandem in a tiny space, which they hadn't told us they were going to park cars all the way around it. So I'll put this in the chat there on YouTube. But go check out that video. It's a pretty nutty thing. I had to fly a tandem into a party where a guy gave away millions of dollars, and there's like 25,000 people there, live music, and it was a casino owner. And I literally knew nothing about this. I think a week before I got called by my buddy who's a SEAL who had flown him in skydiving the year before, and he wanted to do something bigger and different. So we went for bigger and different. And then this year he flew him in on a drone. So two people flew in on a drone to the same party. And I will tell you, having landed in a 80 foot by 40 foot space with a power line at the end and cars all the way around it, I would much prefer a drone because holy crap, that was so tight and scary.
I got an off-the-wall question. Has anybody who has their private gone in and registered their paramotor under the experimental light sport?
I have. We have.
So technically you could fly.
Yep.
At night.
You have to find a DAR who's willing to sign off on it. But we had one built and signed off by Terry Lukey. Not Terry. We had Leon Wacker did it for us out of Sky Cruiser. And we did it for Paradigm. The whole goal was to be able to do tandems on a wheel launch machine before it was legal to do tandems on a ultralight wheel launch. So I have a Subaru powered, super sick 2-place that's been flown once. That's for sale. If anyone wants an N-numbered one to build time for $4 an hour, we've got one. It's sitting in the hangar doing nothing at this point because once they made it legal for ultralight,
$200 for it in 2 weeks.
Say again?
I said I'll have $200 in 2 weeks.
That's my boy. Bob.
Walter.
That's for sale. If anyone wants an N-numbered one
Walter,
to build.
Walter.
Walter's got an echo going.
Walter.
Hang on.
Hang on, don't
Walter.
bananas.
You gotta pause YouTube there, Walter.
I muted you, Walter. I muted you. Tony, we did not kick you out. Don't worry.
I love it.
Well, Walter's flying that powered parachute of his.
Walter. The off-season. Walter, the off-season.
How heavy is that Subaru powered one there, Eric?
It's around 300 pounds.
That's light.
Yeah, it's very light. It's almost legal as far as ultralight rules. In fact, it may be ultralight legal. I have not weighed it, and I don't remember what the numbers say. We bought it 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago. Like I say, it's been flown once. I can fly it legally, but like I have an Eco 2 Lite. I don't know if you guys know what that is. An Eco 2 Lite's from Fly Products. It has a Rotax 503 on it, where RMZ 500, same thing. And the climb rate on that is, at this point, I could have a 350-pound student and have no issue. Like it is stupidly powerful for the weight. It's nuts.
Oh, so you can fly me around.
Say again?
You can fly me around.
Oh, easily. I got you. I can fly two of you around.
Eric, I have a question about Ozone wings. I know they custom-made wings with custom logos. Have you guys ever tried to order one?
We have. We've ordered a bunch of them. Sorry, Linda, I'm muting you again. We've ordered a bunch of them, custom colors, logos, everything else. If it's a simple logo, we do it in-house because we have a 4-foot, or actually a 6-foot wide cutting machine, and we have the ripstop nylon, so we do it in-house. But they do an incredible job. They really do.
How that affects the pricing of the wing? Is it like double the price, triple the price, or?
Yeah, so it depends on how complex you go. If you go top and bottom skin, fully custom, you're looking at triple to quadruple the price. If you go custom colors, it's $250. If you go like with Aviator, like if we put a logo on for you, it's anywhere from $300 to, I think the most expensive one we ever done was like $900. But it's ripstop material. It's a lot of work. It's a full day of cutting, and then it's probably 3 to 4 hours for 4 to 5 people to put it on.
So that's not like a sticky film, right, on top of the wing. It just
It is a sticky.
You cut
film.
the thing and you. Huh?
No, it is a sticky film. So we have two different variants. The cheaper ones use a 0.2 millimeter thick, lightweight vinyl. And that generally lasts 3 to 5 years unless you're in cold climates, in which case it will come off much faster, which is why we added the insignia fabric, which is what sailboats use to put their logos on the sails and stuff. It's a little bit heavier, but that's what we use on all the Paradigm wings, and we've never had one fall off.
And if you're doing this through Ozone, they actually using the different material, right?
Correct. Ozone's actually stitching in different colors, completely custom. The downside is the cost, because everything Ozone does, they do their best to keep everything to minimize the cost for customization, because it's one of their most specified and specialized things. But there's just no way to do that much extra effort. It is a ton of extra effort to push that much out.
Yeah, these are custom colors on my background.
Yeah. Andrew, let me go back to speaker view. There you go.
Are they the only manufacturer who actually does the custom wings, or other manufacturers offer this as well?
Excuse me. So Ozone is probably the one that offers the most custom colors. I don't know what the dates or the timeline would be now. Back in the day, if you wanted to order, when I was selling Dudek, if you want to order a custom color, you're looking at 16 to 20 weeks. With Ozone, it doesn't change the timeline. They keep it the same timeline as ordering a stock color wing, and they keep the cost much, much lower than other brands. There is a company called Printed Wings, printedwings.com. A acquaintance of mine runs it. They build incredibly beautiful wings, but sadly they don't work with Ozone, and I am in love with Ozone's designers. I've worked with so many different manufacturers, and I've had great experiences and poor experiences, and I've never had anything but positive experiences with Ozone. The way that their designers think is so far outside the box at trying to be the most professional, the safest, Like they earn my business. They cost me, like I could increase my profit by almost 100% by selling a different brand, or by creating our own brand. I can increase it even more. And I stick with Ozone because to me it's worth it. But Printed Wings makes incredible gliders. They're around $5,000 to $6,000 a piece, if I recall correctly. I'm trying to think of Campbell Jones is his last name. I can't think of the young man's first name who actually runs the company, but it's Pascal is his brother. I can't think of his first name. It's going to kill me. Anyway, great.
Hey, Eric, who made the one? There was a custom wing built, not with a picture of an eagle.
That's actually done by Elizabeth Dufour. So she actually cut that out. She created it herself. So that's a custom wing that she sewn everything herself. I will say it is a terrible flying glider. It's not terrible. Let me rephrase that. It is a glider that flies exactly like a wing designed in 1999 flies like, which is very bad flare characteristics, very poor inflation characteristics, but an incredibly striking wing to fly and really fun because you just giggle the whole time you're flying. You have to land with power. Like as you flare, you add power. Otherwise, you're hitting the ground really hard.
Downright un-American of you to say that about that wing.
I know. The Australian is telling me this, and I believe you.
Yeah.
And if anybody's thinking about getting custom colors on their wings, $250 is so worth it.
It isn't because
of your own.
It depends on the time. So like we usually keep 30, 40 wings in stock on the shelf, right? And at this time last year, the weight started to build. And the worst it ever was 2 years ago. They were 122 days manufacturing time for a Spider. And so stock colors were really sexy at that point. So don't diss the stock colors. We've had some input.
Oh, I'm not dissing them, but I am so glad I spent the money to get that custom one.
Do you have?
And it only took 6 weeks during the lockdown to get mine.
That's not too terrible.
Yeah.
Huge shout out to my buddy, the skunk himself behind the bunker. He's here. He's watching. Love this guy. He's a past student of ours, has his own podcast. If you guys want to see some incredible production value and a gentleman with a heart of gold who wants to help us do more for our podcast, big shout out. Thanks for watching, my friend. Glad you're here. I know you're late as heck, but hey, we've maintained an excellent audience tonight, and the connection has stayed healthy all night, which is shocking, except for at 8:35 when it said no data. Don't know why. But Tony Morzana actually asked a very interesting question. He says, how come you don't get the colors underneath? You can on some gliders, none left anymore in the Ozone lineup because the lighter weight fabrics that Ozone uses are not able to be permeated by dye. So the reason they don't have the lower surface colored is because they want to increase performance. So it's white or white because you can see the colors above through it, and they want to make sure that you're able to launch it in any condition possible. So, yeah.
Hey, Eric, when you place the order for the masks for the next class, tack 50 on there. You'll sell them in the store, no problem.
So you're going to buy 50 masks. Got it. Thank you.
I'll buy 2.
Sure. I'll expect the order for 50 tomorrow.
$1 a piece?
I'll probably spend more money on something else, too.
Right? You guys are awesome.
You can't stop at the $20 order.
Yeah, so I'd like to give a quick shout out to a very good friend of mine. If anybody's looking for a wing logo, contact my Craig Taylor at Wicked Wings Logo. I'll set you up.
Craig does an awesome job.
He's an outstanding guy.
Why is Craig not using our services for this? We have so much extra material at this point. It's ridiculous.
Craig Taylor is one of the most generous human beings I've ever met in my entire life.
No doubt. He is genuinely like, there's a lot of people in life that I like, and I hope that they hold up to my like expectation of them being good people. Craig has never let me down, and I absolutely love that. I really do. All right, I'm going to ask this question to you guys. It just came in through YouTube. Can you get above the clouds with an Atom 80? Look at anybody in the chat who had, or anybody in here who has an Atom 80. Who's got an Atom 80 and has gotten above the clouds? Aside from me. Really? Jeez, guys. Yes, you can get above the clouds in the Atom 80. No issue whatsoever. It all depends on your weight. Chris, have a great night, my friend. We'll see you soon. I can't believe no one else has an Atom 80. Jeez.
I did.
You did? Did you swap?
But I never flew it.
Yeah, that's right. You had the green one, right?
Well, I had the blue one, the blue Atom 80, and then I swapped to the green one because they had it in stock. That one.
That's right. Nice. Miles says that in 4 years, you guys are going to help me see the world in a whole new perspective. Hey, Miles, can't wait, man. Seriously. And jump in here and talk to us, Miles. Tell us about your life and what you're trying to do now. David Dickerson said, I don't think it would lift my ass. David, we're the same weight, basically, I think. You might have 20 pounds on me. It's no problem. You're totally good. Miles, you want to talk? Miles left.
You guys hear me?
Yeah, dude. And I saw you earlier. Come on, bring your video back in. Don't kill our freaking production value. Saw, dude. Tell us about you, Miles. What's your experience? What you looking to do?
Well, first off, I'm just babysitting and mowing lawns to start out to earn money and stuff, but I'm still looking out to earn more money for 4 years to come.
That's so freaking awesome, man. You're 14?
Nice.
Dude, so I started my entrepreneurial journey in earnest when I was 13. I started working when I was 7. But when I was 13, I started a real business on the internet, selling airplanes. And I hustled, and my voice hadn't changed like yours has, you lucky bugger. So everyone thought I was a girl when they called the phone number on the website. And so I told them my name was Erica. Because I didn't want to try to explain that they were going to buy an airplane from a 13-year-old.
That's hilarious.
Oh, it made more sense. And so I had this experience, and I worked really hard, and I was able to hire employees by the time I was 14 or 15. And, it was never a wealthy business or anything like that where it was something that was changing the world. But there was no question that hard work, when you have a clear goal, is everything. And
there you go.
Everyone in life experiences depression in a different way. I get genuinely depressed, and if you watch the episodes with my wife, she's not here right now. There's previous episodes with her talking about her experience in life, and she struggles with depression, and I struggle with depression, and we each experience it different ways. And for me, the moment I lose a goal, the moment I don't have something to strive toward, I don't feel like myself. I don't feel whole. And so you babysitting and mowing lawns, and I mowed lawns, no one trusted me to babysit. So good for you. But I freaking worked my butt off because I believed in a dream, and I still do. And the dreams always step forward. And the moment you accomplish, when I released my book, I was like, well, I released my book. Now what? And I spent probably 3 days after that live stream where I read it in the book going, oh God, what do I do now? I spent the last year working on this in every spare moment. What do I do now? So don't hesitate, man. And don't just make this your goal. Figure out what the next ones are going to be, because the next ones are going to be way more important.
Yeah.
You got to have stretch goals, man.
I'm into mountain biking as well with my mom.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah. What
birthdays?
Go ahead.
I'd like to say something real quick. I had been going through a really rough time in my life. I'd had a downturn in my business, and I was in a really low point. I had a long talk with Eric one day, and we went on for I don't even know how long it was. It was a while, and he was really pushing the self-actualization and all this stuff, and I had hit the point where I was in a bad spot, and I was at the point, and Eric knows the story. I had almost you start to get, worked up. It's and then it's I got off the chat, and I'm thinking to myself, it's you know what? Everything he said, I'm going to get myself out of this spot and just pull myself back up again. So, I mean, that aside, Eric's book, I'm telling you right now, has been an inspirational. I can't even say how inspirational it was.
I'm honored to hear it. Like I told my wife right before I released it, and I struggled with this for the months leading up to releasing the book and leading up to this idea that I was going to actually do this. And I think, and I talked to one of my mentors. I mentioned him in the book a couple of times. Every entrepreneur he's ever dealt with deals with the same feeling. I was like, I don't feel like I deserve this. I don't feel like I deserve to say anything because what have I done? You know, I started a business in the butt fan world. Like, that's not like a great achievement, right? But I kept getting encouraged, kept being told, like, listen, like, you're doing good. You're helping people. And yeah, you've made mistakes. You've done a lot of things that are wrong. You've had a lot of failures. And the reality was it was really difficult for me to release the book at all. And the editing process was one of the most painful things in my life. But I'm really grateful that I did. And Bob, thank you. Cause like, to me, that's the feedback that I need. I go and I look and see if there are reviews almost every day. Every few days I check and see if there are good reviews. And so far there have only been good ones. So for the 4 people who dislike this video, feel free to go leave a bad one. That's fine. Oh, look, there's one. There's a half star down now. I haven't looked in a couple days. There's a 3-star review. I guess this one's bad. Let's see. But
see, what I took out of that was, when you know in your mind, logically, that if you have a failure, you'll get past it. But it's almost like reading the book. It's almost like reading part of a community, and
right.
It was like we've all gone through it, and if he can do it, I can do it.
Well, dude, we all can. It's choosing. It's choosing to believe that there's always a dream beyond our failure. It's choosing to recognize that there's more life to be lived at any point in your life. When my brother died, I felt like the whole world shifted. When I broke my back and I couldn't go to the Air Force Academy, I felt like my whole world shifted. When all these different things happened, I felt like giving up, like anybody else would. And for whatever reason, the way I was raised, the way that I look at life, like I chose not to. And the reason I wrote the book was that I had 2 different publishers go, you need to tell your story because it might inspire someone else. So like hearing you say that, Bob, like that is the biggest blessing for me I could ever ask for, because that's literally why I did it. It's not for everybody, and it's not greatly written. Like as I'm doing the audiobook, I'm going through it. I'm like, okay, here's like 17 edits in the first 2 chapters I can make to make it read better. But the reality is, like, if you could take one thing away from it and feel empowered, that's my goal. And if Miles can see Tucker flying, see us flying, and see, as a 14-year-old man, say, I want to do this, and have enough gumption to do it. Like, I mean, seriously, I'm not trying to put you on blast, Miles. I'm sorry, but like, look at this dude. Look at this dude.
He's awesome.
I've got an 8-year-old son and a 7-year-old son and a 5-year-old daughter, and like, I want this for them. I don't want them to follow in my footsteps if it's not their passion, but like, I so desperately want them to have the passion for what they're doing like I have for it. Because life begins where fear ends. Life begins where you see something that you want and you say, I'm going to take that because I believe in it. I believe that this is who I'm meant to be. And Miles, you're doing it, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I would say. I would say, take this from someone who has made the mistake of thinking the I can't moments. Grab it. Take it. Do it. Live your dream, brother.
Amen. There is no can't.
There you go.
There is no can't. Miles, what do your parents think?
I've talked to them about it, but they like the idea that because my dad talks a lot about me saving and stuff, like don't just spend money right away, right as you get it. About the saving part, but he's like kind of hesitant about it. But my mom's like, just go at it, do what you want. But like, she still has that responsibility about me doing things. But yeah,
have them watch this. In all seriousness, have them watch the last 10 minutes. Let them see a little look inside of the hundreds of people who are believing in you right now, who are looking at you as a man who is following their dreams. I mean, dude, you're 14 years old, and you got men who are over 50 looking at you and saying, you're doing what I should have.
My birthday.
I know you can do it.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Amen. Amen.
We wish we had the opportunity, Eric, at his age.
Yes, I do too. And like, I had these opportunities, but not for this. And I wish I had them for this, because if I'd found this 20 years sooner, I'd be so much different and better of a person. I would have been so much more peaceful. Like, that's the thing that flying paramotors has done for me, is like it has created this peacefulness in my soul that nothing else did. And I've done a lot of things. Racing motorcycles, flying airplanes, you name it, I'm doing all kinds of stuff, and nothing else touches what flying paramotors does.
Yeah,
nothing.
Yeah, that's true. I feel that someone as young as sorry, I can't see the lad, but
Miles,
someone as young as Miles, to have the passion to want to do that, it's positive.
Absolutely.
As long as his schoolwork's up to date.
See, one of the life lessons I have learned, and I forgot it for the longest time, and a few chats with Eric and his book have kind of reminded me what I had forgotten, is sometimes life puts you down. It's not putting you down, it's teaching you something. Take that life lesson, roll it into your life, and move on. Learn from your mistakes. They're not negative. Learn from the positive part of it, and take the positive and just go.
100%.
Every day, I'm nearly 64, so I still say we learn something every day. Whether it's watching this podcast with Eric, you pick up on some things, whatever. Daily life, you meet new people, you learn new stuff. That's what life's about. And Eric, I think that's your passion, is seeing the life in, well, to take up something like you said, butt fan business. Mate, I couldn't see anything better in life for someone's travel. So, I commend you, sir.
Thank you, my friend.
On what you do for aviation, what you do for powered paragliding, and so on. That's why you're flat out, and that's good to see. You can't ask for anything more in business.
Amen, my friend. Amen. And that's the goal.
It might just be a butt fan business, but you've probably got one of the most world-recognized ones around. You probably put the most pilots in the air, too.
We're trying to help the most people. That's the heart of it. We're just trying to help the most people.
Yeah.
No
I think
doubt.
you're the only one that has 2 locations at the moment, too, aren't you?
Yeah, and we had 10 affiliates, and these guys are people who teach the way we teach, and they're great human beings, and that's everything.
Yeah.
It really is.
I would love to be one of your affiliates.
We can talk about it, my friend. Well, guys, I am going to go to bed and stop the stream. I'm exhausted. I thank everyone who's still watching. I'm going to leave the after show to keep going, because I know Finnegan will freaking go until 3 a.m. Finnegan and Taylor and Nick. I expect you guys, Bob as well. You guys go forever. Miles, thank you so much for letting us dump on your life and share our feelings with you, and be able to hopefully have a little impact, and maybe bless your parents too, because I believe in what you're doing. And when I was your age, I was enthralled with airplanes, and I would do whatever it took to fly, and it has positively affected my life till I'm now 20 years older than you, and I have not slowed down. I still want to fly every day. I still find peace and joy in it every day, and
you're affecting a lot of people along the way, Eric.
Yeah.
No doubt.
As far as what you're doing, and I just wanted to say about Nick and the long hanger on us. It's 12 o'clock What's today? Wednesday. Couldn't think. It's 12 o'clock Wednesday lunchtime here, so I'll probably be up with them too.
That's
so. Awesome. Where were you last night, Walter? You didn't come in.
He came in.
I came
in. You lost internet.
Oh, you come in after our whole neighborhood went down here. The fiber went out.
Yeah.
We talk about like everything under the sun. Like the other day, we went down the Only in Miami Instagram page.
The after show rabbit hole.
Oh Lord.
But before Eric leaves, I just like to say one thing. It's like, personally, from the bottom of my heart, I like to say thank you for the advice. It may have been not the advice I wanted to hear at the time, but it's the advice I needed to hear. And it's, yeah.
I'm honored, my friend. I truly am. Like, to me, like this whole, I learned this in the past 2 years, 3 years. I've realized, like, my parents, who they're 73 and 68 years old, and I've realized that the reality is that no one has it together. Like, you always look at your parents, you're like, oh, they have it all figured out. No one has it all together. It's an experiment of life. Life is a grand experiment. Sure. Right?
Yeah, we're going through a big experiment at the moment, Eric, and I think and I hope and I pray that it all bounces back bigger than ever.
Amen. But the reality is, like, we don't have it figured out, and that's okay. And I feel like my experiment right now for the last 8 years has been, how can I inspire kindness, love, and joy, and help people to move past fear to see that there's more life to be lived beyond it. Like, that's my mission. And so I just keep trying. I keep trying to keep pushing, and I keep bringing the best people I possibly can around me, because it's never going to be about me. It's going to be about the people who surround me, because we have the best people. Like,
we got you, Eric. You.
No, man.
Go on the road, Eric.
No, Rock. You. Totally.
Do like the rock stars do, Eric.
No rock star here. Vasily sent me a message. I can't reply via text. Vasily, if you want to chat, send me an email. Happy to chat with you or connect you with Kristen. She can set you up with everything. My team is so much better at this stuff than I am, guys. Like, I've got a guy, bless his heart, who bought a one wheel from us, and through a whole series of unfortunate events, he paid for it after someone else paid for it, and then we were out of them, and he keeps messaging me, and I'm like, I gave you the person to talk to. I genuinely don't know what's happening with one wheel supplies, because I don't talk to the supplier. Our supply logistics person does. Yeah. So, like, please, I'm sorry. I'm not the guy. I can email her and find out what's going on, or you can email her and find out what's going on. But, like, Kristen's that for student liaison. She's incredible at this stuff, guys. Don't hesitate. So, Vasily, just email me and I'll connect you with Kristen. If you want to talk to me personally, I'm always happy to chat as well. As much as I'm available, which is sadly not very much, because I have to make dinner every night, and it's a lot of work. So it's, keeps me busy. Keeps me very busy. Oh, man.
You missed out on the piano, Eric.
I can see if Nell's down for piano. I'll text her really quick. I don't know. I heard her on the phone, so I'll see if she's down. If she's down for piano, we can do piano.
Walter.
Oh, I've got a request.
Walter.
How are you, bananas?
Hi, honey bun. How are you?
How's your bananas going?
They're delicious.
Hey?
I bought like the organic ones.
Did you?
They're really good. They're really good, yeah.
Were they covered up in paper so they haven't been spat on?
I know.
Hope you washed the outside before you ate
know.
it.
Well, I don't eat the banana skins.
Ah.
Yeah.
We do have it. More filling that way, you get more fiber.
Has anybody watched Silicon Valley? TV show on HBO called Silicon Valley. It's absolutely hilarious, and in the last few episodes of the final season, there's a couple characters who are eating artichokes, but they're not just like they're eating the whole artichoke like they're eating an apple, and it's so bad. I'm dying watching it. Like, it's
raw.
Raw artichokes, whole.
Oh, wow.
Ew.
I know.
The marinated, they're not bad. I've never had one raw. I'm not sure I could.
I don't think you could do like the whole thing though, like the pointy bits, right? Like the pointy bits.
Oh, the pointy ones. The wild ones.
Yeah.
Like I've done stuffed artichoke, but never raw.
Yeah.
I love artichokes marinated on chicken piccata.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
Yeah, chicken piccata is one of my favorite meals of all time. In fact, I've made it at least 4 times since all this started because I'm in charge of dinner, kids. So,
Well, if you ever get down to Florida to do training, I'll have to have my wife make up her.
I like it. I'm in.
World's famous.
World's famous. I love it.
My world.
Eric, you could start your own cooking show.
We actually, if you want to watch some really hilarious old school footage.
Are you doing a cooking show?
There is a cooking show on my YouTube channel.
Ah, I love it.
There's also
So you are a chef. I'm very impressed.
There's also a his and hers how to best wrap a Christmas present episode. That one's pretty priceless.
Now the female's coming out, isn't it?
I'll take it. No problem. Well, guys, I'm going to say goodnight to the stream. Thank you all for watching. If you haven't yet, feel free to click on the link in the chat. You can join the after show. So much love to Craig Taylor, who's taking over the host. Kevin Confly finally joined us and hasn't said a word. Hi, Kevin.
Well, I didn't want to interrupt you. You're doing such a great job with the monologue. So
monologues are like key, bro. I got a monologue and then I can leave. It's like step 1, step 2, step 1, step 2, right?
Great intro, great outro. That's the key to every good video.
This is the longest podcast we've done in so long. Oh my god.
Hey, Eric.
Oh no, Miles has more information, and I actually really want to hear what Miles has to say. What's up, Miles?
So there's no information, but this picture right here in my virtual background, I sent this to
RC
Tucker.
Paramotor, right?
Yeah, I sent it to Tucker.
That's sick, dude.
That's cool.
Is that a hobby flight one? Which one is that?
I just used a drone propeller and I soldered the battery and the motor together. I soldered the adapter for the battery to the motor, so when I plug in the battery, it'll spin the motor, but I have to find a way to attach the propeller to it, and I need to find a better wing for it.
Well, there are plans for wings online if you Google it. But so we built one that was way better than the ones that were available from France. And I'm a dealer for the ones from France, and like they're really sick and they've done a great job. Like I'm not dogging them, but their electronic components were really cheap. So like to the point where like I flew it once for about 4 minutes and I fried the ESCs and the motor. And that was a problem. So especially for like the 700 euros they wanted for the large one that I bought. I mean, it has a little person and everything that sits in it, which is, I mean, that's cool. Like that's really cool. But it was really expensive for what it was. So we had one of our past students build one, and we had this great plan to have this whole thing built, and it was going to be really sick and a fraction of the price with high-end electronics. So we started researching the gliders, and I tried to find people in the U.S. who could build the gliders. Long story short, there are plans online which would make way more sense if you actually want to sew it. Or I'm trying to think of the name of the company. What's one of the biggest hobby companies, like RC companies out there?
Hobby King.
Hobby King has a super cheap one that AJ used to play around with when I was getting school there. That thing.
So they actually, Hobby King has a version 2. It's the newer version of it. And you can get just the sale for, I think it's like $25 from Hobby King.
Yeah.
Or you can
that's
get
what I would do.
the whole setup. You get the whole setup with the gondola, the motor, everything, plug and fly. I think that's all.
Yeah, I've seen the crazy expensive ones from I think it's Hacker that makes them. But they're
well,
super
that's the
expensive.
German one. There's one in France that the flying characteristics are way better, but for every cent that it's worth, buy the freaking Hobby King. Like when you're buying paramotor gear or training, spend the money, right, Andrew? When you're gonna go ahead and buy a toy. And the Hobby King one has flown awesome for everyone I know that has it. And like, yeah, there's your Aviator helmet. You know what it's about. And
I got it all hooked up now. Battery.
Dang,
I I have one of the Hobby King ones, and it flies fantastic.
Yeah, we have one. We had no issues with it. Like super, super pleased with the entire experience. Versus, I spent I think 1,600 euros for my first 2 units as a dealer from the company in France whose name is escaping me right now, and it lasted 1 flight, and it was
see, I'm super, super fortunate, right? See, I live in a suburb of Portland, and the Hobby King distribution warehouse is literally like 1.3 miles from my house. So I make an order today, and then in the afternoon I go collect it from the warehouse, and I don't even have to worry about shipping.
Wow.
Kind of spoiled. I have a bedroom in my house that's just 100% dedicated to 3D printing and RC toys, and I've been doing that since I was 6.
That's amazing. I'm so like.
Oh, you're so old, Kevin. You're just so
This is all Hobby King.
Dang.
Shrink wrap.
When people ask why do I live in Portland, I mean, it's like, well, you go to the source, right? Some people get the source from water. They go to a river. Some people need hobby parts. They move next to a distribution warehouse.
So funny story. I launched a business in Portland, Oregon, about 12, 13 years ago, in the basement of Kel's Irish Pub. It was an internet business. They let me.
That place is still there, and it's still awesome.
Oh, it's so awesome! They had the best pasties, and they would let me drink Guinness and smoke cigars in their basement. And so I sat down there for 6 days, like 20-hour days, and it was fantastic.
That sounds very Portlandish.
It was very Portlandish. I go to Stumptown occasionally, get some coffee. You know.
There you go.
You see in Portland, the basement.
Exactly.
Portland's a weird little eclectic city. It's not very big, but it's got some really unique little things to it because it's kind of old.
It is.
I mean, it's one of the established cities on the West Coast that, everyone thinks the California and the 49ers, all that. Oregon Trail. I mean, they made a video game about it. Like, really honestly.
I loved it. Well, guys,
it's funny. I'm looking at the chat on the Zoom chat, and apparently, David Nickens is a friend of mine. Well, Facebook friend of mine, and he lives about like 25, 30 minutes away from me. I'm looking at the chat. It's like, looking forward to kiting with you next week, Bob. It's like,
we're
cool.
kiting.
Well, there you go.
He fell in love with ice cream and moved to Utah, so you're gonna have to catch him while you can.
I found a wing, 2.4 meter paramotor wing.
Well, Miles, if you can't get it, I'll send you one of mine.
Okay, do you just want me to text
you the address
or I'll send you my email.
Yeah, please do. Just send me an email with your email address. Was it you that sent me a letter a few months ago, like 2 months ago?
Oh, I don't remember.
Somebody sent me a letter, and I can't remember who the name is. It's sitting on my desk, which I haven't been to in 2 months, so I can't remember, and I haven't replied to it, so I feel really bad. But
there's your future host right there, Miles.
Exactly. It truly is.
I'm telling you. Yeah.
Okay. I sent it to you.
There's a lot of potential there.
Got it, Miles. Send it to my email, eric@aviatorppg, because I will not have chat once I close this window. And I've been live for 2 hours and 42 minutes, so I'm going to shut down in about 80 minutes ago.
I believe it.
It's a new record for you, Eric.
When he gets your email, he'll send you the PayPal request, so don't worry.
I like it.
I put my email privately to you, Eric, in the chat.
I'll send you all mine. Ready? Here we go. This is the complex world that we live in, and I'm going to be signed up for all kinds of things I don't want to be signed up for. It's going to be great. All right, I typed it on the wrong keyboard. I have 2 keyboards in front of me, guys. This is hard. 2 computers, 2 keyboards. All right.
Got it.
Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. I will let you guys continue your conversation. The stream is stopping now. We'll see you guys for episode number 48 next week.